You are now listening to the Minority Trailblazer podcast. Let the story begin.
One time for the lovers, two times for the ladies, three times for the brothers, four times for the babies. Do you love her? 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 One time for the lovers, two times for the ladies, three times for the brothers, four times for the babies. Do you love her? 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 Brown skin, love her brown skin, love her brown. Brown skin, love her brown skin, love her brown. She my brown skin, love her brown skin, love her brown. She my brown skin, love her brown skin. Hold me down.
What it do, world? It's your boy GregEHill, the Culture Change Agent. It is the live episode 1 chapter episode that's gonna hit you right in the face after this next 10-minute intro. But I just wanted to say something real quick before I get on my soapbox and do my thing. As always on this intro. Man, I'm almost in tears right now. It's been almost 5 years since we started this podcast. Almost 5. And the amount of support, the love, the LinkedIn messages, the text messages, the Instagram, Facebook, man, y'all changed my life forever. Y'all really did. I mean, I had talent. Talent speaking. We were going to speak. We were going to do all that, man. But I never knew this podcast would have me speaking at the Harvards, going back to my alma mater, North Carolina, A&T, traveling the world, like the country rather. Actually, no, traveling the world, the Bahamas, Houston, Sacramento, Oakland, New York. You went on a whole tour. And some people take this for granted. It ain't on no brand shit. Like, y'all blew it up. Y'all blew me up in this space, man. Like, I can't act like that. This all me. This is my team that put me on. This is y'all that downloaded and shared it. Stay true. Even y'all listen to all these, majority of y'all listen to all these podcasts. I've been going through it over the last couple of years at times. Y'all stayed true. Y'all bought the book. Y'all invested to a certain degree. Y'all shared. Y'all liked. Y'all commented. Y'all kept me encouraged, man. I don't take that for granted. I just want to say this because I'm going to say some real things in the next couple minutes, all right? But before I even get there, man, y'all changed my life, man. I love all y'all to a certain degree. I can't say I just love y'all unequivocally. I ain't going to take a bullet for all y'all. But I love y'all. Y'all changed everything for me, man. And that's the power of support. That's the power of love unconditionally. And you can do the same thing. This all started with $80 in a microphone, and we changed the world. The crazy thing about it is, though, you're listening to this podcast, your actions, your intent, what you do, what you think, what you eat, what you share, you're changing the world right now. So don't get lost in the future. When you listen to this episode, don't get lost in the future. You stay in the present. You stay locked in. You get every single night you can in the show, and you implement rapidly. You implement rapidly. You implement rapidly. I'm not on this thing to just, we ain't doing this for play. We ain't doing this for to get more likes, to get more shares. No, every single episode that we ever bring you and that we ever gonna bring you is straight from the core, straight from the heart, because you are a trailblazer. You ain't becoming a trailblazer. You ain't a trailblazer just because you come on the show or just because you listen. You've been a trailblazer. And you got to keep that same energy every single moment of your life, knowing that you are a trailblazer and you're going to move like a trailblazer. You're going to talk like a trailblazer. You're going to listen like a trailblazer. You're going to do what you need to do. And you've been doing what you need to do to a certain degree. And I need y'all to embody that this year. I know it's been a couple months since we've been on the mic. We on the mic now, man. We on the mic, and I need y'all to embody that spirit this year. I need y'all to live in that moment. I need y'all to own it. I don't care about the outcomes of this year. I care about the inputs. What's the inputs? Your effort, your love, bump your intentions. What are you going to do? I don't care about good intentions no more. We off that. That was 2018. Your intentions don't matter no more. No intentions don't matter no more. You're going to do what you say you're going to do. And if you're not, just say you're not. Period. And if you ain't keeping that energy, you probably don't need to listen to this podcast. This podcast probably ain't for you. That's all. We keeping that energy all 2019. So I need y'all to stay encouraged. I need to stay loved. And make sure if nobody else has told you they love you in a while, I love you. Because y'all blew me up. Y'all changed my life forever. I'm not going to be out here on IG and all these things acting like I'm some brand master. No, I can tell a couple stories. I'm an okay marketer. But without y'all, I'm nothing. We are nothing. Nothing. It doesn't make. I mean, to a certain degree. Like I'm a man. I'm a man of the cloth. Like so, without the podcast, we still be living and doing our thing. But y'all just add another flavor to it, man. So I just wanted to say that. But I'm about to talk about some other real stuff, man. I appreciate y'all. I appreciate y'all. So before we jump in the 100th episode, y'all need to hear it again. I appreciate y'all. I don't take y'all for granted. I don't. The culture got enough people taking y'all for granted. They're taking y'all information, selling it, acting. Whoo! Let me calm down. Let me calm down. Y'all got it, all right? Let's jump into this thing. Welcome back. Minority Trailblazer Nation, man. It's your boy GregEHill, the culture change agent, man. Welcome to 2019. I know, like, yo, G, it's January 18th. What is it? January 17th right now. 18th, rather. And you talking about welcome to 2019. Yo, I've been gone for a minute. Now we back at the jump off. Yo, y'all going to be listening to the live 100th episode. This is a 2.5-hour podcast with some of the 6 most dynamic people in the triangle sharing jewels, gems, and all that good stuff, man. Y'all owe me for this. Like seriously, y'all owe me for this, man. This is some content I shouldn't even be giving out for free to keep it 100. But we're going to give it out anyways, man. I just want to let y'all know real quick, because I know many are like, yo, when you dropping the podcast, what's going on? We're going to be returning with season 6 of the Minority Trailblazer podcast. Is it season 6? Hold up. Yeah, season 6 of the Minority Trailblazer podcast, I believe. And we're going to be launching that March 14th to the second Thursday in March. And you're like, yo, G, why the 2-month gap? You've already been gone like a month and a half. Why the 2-month gap? Because guess what, yo? We are launching a podcast network. It's been in the mix for the last couple of years, but now we are off the ground. So we're going to have a podcast. I'm not going to be hosting it. I'm introducing some new hosts for a mental health podcast, specifically for mental health, led by a licensed professional, as well as a podcast specifically focused on politics, so bringing it right to your kitchen. I'm excited. So we're going to be debuting 2 new shows in the new season of Minority Trailblazer podcast. I know for us, we dropping Thursday, March 14th. The political podcast may be actually going out on Tuesdays, and the mental health podcast probably on Mondays. So we're going to have a lineup for you. So every week we bringing you content, man. Get pumped, get excited. Yo, y'all don't understand how big this is, man. And on that note, before we kind of jump right into episode 100, because I know, like, yo, it's a 2-hour episode. So how is it broken down? The first part is broken down when we talk about relationships, but not in the sense of boy, girl, woman, man, all those things. More so in relationships with people and how you can leverage them, but also growing them, how you can delete them. It's crazy. And then we talk about business, and it gets real in the business section. That's led by Desmond Scott, CEO and founder of Prime Fitness, as well as D. McDougal, who is a beast out there at Square Bank, one of the VPs out there. And also, matter of fact, my preacher, Orlando Thomas, as well as Venetia Crawford, the CEO, will be doing a relationships one. And then Holistic Wealth is led by the incredible Tiana Shanae. And my boy T. Crump, man. And it is that one, I'm telling you, that's at the end. People are crying in there. People are sharing a lot of good, real stuff, man. So y'all get in for a treat. I got a couple housekeeping things. One, if you've been listening to this podcast for more than 5 episodes, you ain't bought my book, shame on you. Go to GregEHill.com/book, or just go to GregEHill.com product and buy the book. Purchase the book, share the whole story, all that good stuff. And make sure you check out the new website, GregEHill.com, man. We got a whole new layout. Man, it's phenomenal. Crazy new layout, man. I'm excited. And I am taking on some more speaking gigs this year. So if you want me to come to your corporation, organization, and select colleges, I said select colleges, definitely look on the website. Book me, all that good stuff. And then last 2 more announcements. One. Remember. I will be actually debuting my next group of masterminds. First group was phenomenal. Shout out to Evan Bernard. Shout out to Douglas Watson. Shout out to Jessica Bassett. Shout out to Lola. Shout out to Danny. Shout out to Michael Benjamin, man. It's been phenomenal growth, and they all growing their brands, and they actually read up for another 6 months. So if you need an accountability group, if you need coaching, if you're an aspiring podcast, aspiring author, or you are a current author, speaker, podcast, you need a group of like-minded individuals, and myself actually coaching and guiding that group. Join us, yo. Join us, man. We meet every other week. And when we're not meeting, they're having accountability calls with each other. And I'm bringing in a guest speaker every single month to talk specifically about business, about life. And it's next level. It is truly next level, man. So y'all, everybody get excited. And go to GregEHill.com/mastermind. GregEHill.com/mastermind. The cost, it is $200 per month to join the group. I guarantee you're going to make that back over the first month because the stuff that we dropping on that thing is game changing. I'm only taking maximum 6 for probably around 5 people. So go ahead and if you want to take it to that next level, go ahead and RSVP today and do an application. We want to make sure everybody's the right fit. We're not just put $200 in. Want to make sure everybody's the right fit and that I can add the most value to you. So go ahead, go to GregEHill.com/mastermind to fill out the application. And last and certainly not least, I didn't want to say it, but y'all know I'm a real guy. And I ain't gonna lie, y'all feel some type of way on certain degrees, man. At the 100th live episode, shout out to everybody that attended, man. We had over, We had over 90, my bad. We sold out in 1 week, 230 tickets sold. Crazy, man. Crazy energy, crazy, just everything, man. I was so blessed to have everybody on doing their thing, man. But one thing, at the end of the program, we were able to raise a couple grand for the Capital Improvement Fund, which is going towards helping out the podcast network, buying new equipment. Like this mic I'm using right now is great, but we transitioning in the next couple months. You're going to see a whole new sound in 2013 from the Trailblazer podcast, man. So shout out to Sydney, my producer, Sydney Evans, man. Go check him out. I'm gonna have his website information at the end of the podcast, man. Go check him out. If you're a podcaster and you're an audiobook, anything you want to do, he's creating my mixtape, all that good stuff, man. Check him out. Matter of fact, let me go ahead and plug his information right now. And you can find his website information. You can go to SydneyEvansAudio.com. That is SydneyEvansAudio.com. So if you're working on a podcast, audiobook, your motivational speaker trying to make a mixtape, all that good stuff, man, go to SydneyEvansAudio.com, man. He is the guy to go to. But I was like, yo, and I had people that never listened to a podcast before that came to the event, was life-changing, and yo, we raised a couple grand in a couple minutes. But I'm going to be real. When I put out the Capital Improvement Fund link to the audience, I had people that have been listening to my podcast for 10, 20 episodes, 30, 40, 50 episodes, sometimes a couple years, and been since the ground up. And I'm looking like, yo, we got people that just experienced it, and they donated 10, 25. I'm not even big on big donations, right? Because, we're going to get the equipment anyways. However, I'm like, yo, we've been sowing seeds for a long time. And we got people that have been taking a lot of stuff, but y'all put the capital improvement in for my podcast base. It was crickets. I'm going to be real, it was crickets. And it kind of shocked me a little bit. I can't even front. It was crickets. I was like, wow. And we the live event, and the people we came into contact over the last couple of years, they blessed us. And we're halfway to our goal of $5,000, and we're going to get our goal, and everything else I'll cover on the back end, man. I was a little bit disappointed, man. I was disappointed. I was like, yo, people been getting information for a while, sending me text messages, LinkedIn posts. Yo, we love your show. It's inspiring. Listen to it every morning. And I'm like, yo, it's not correlating, right? And the thing is, I'm not even on, I need big amounts from people, right? But what you do with a little, you do with a lot. And it's about sowing seeds. And that's what I'm doing all 2019 rather, and the rest of my life. I'm always sowing seeds. When I gave little, I got little. When I gave a lot, I got a lot, man. So it's a challenge to me, and it's also a challenge to you. If you've been listening to this podcast for more than a couple episodes and you've got any value, replicate that value, because this is not going to me. This is not sowing the seeds in my pockets. I get paid for speaking, masterminds, all this other stuff. I do a lot of stuff. However, this is going to the next generation that needs the best audio content, that wants more video content, that wants other things that I'm trying to provide. But I'm like, yo, let's pay it forward. Let's pay it forward, man. So if you want to invest and sow a seed, go to GregEHill.com/seed. CI Fund, or it's capital improvement. It's on my website. So capital improvement, go there. Or you can cash at the boy GregEHill, put your name in there, show the boy love. $ GregEHill. PayPal me, culturechange9@gmail. But I prefer you just go to the website because you can see what we're about, what it's going to. So GregEHill.com/CI Fund. Or if you real, just throw the cash at $ GregEHill. All right, that's all I'm gonna say on that for right now. 100th episode is crazy. Y'all enjoy the show.
This is amazing, for real. Like, seriously. Clap it up, really. Clap it up. The reason why I'm so excited is because, literally, while we're here today, right, I need y'all to do one thing. The biggest thing I need y'all to do, y'all got to take away one thing. And here's the catch, though. If you don't take away one thing, you got to give one thing. All right, so don't leave and be like, oh, man, I was here, they started late, that ain't this, what's the money? Oh, it's a free event, first of all, right? That's real. But secondly, you need to leave it. You didn't get nothing, you need to give it somebody something. Because what I'm about to share with you today in Westbrook, yes, you have about to share, it's going to blow your mind, but I'm telling you, you got to open up, you have to have the will and spirit. You got to be looking for that one thing you're going to get that's going to change your life. Because guess what? Y'all are here right now. Listen. No applause right now. There's people right here that we know, family members we know is not seeing 2019. They ain't seeing 2019, they ain't never coming back. We got people right now that are dealing with stuff. They got family members in coma, family members they ain't gonna see today. So when we here right now, before we leave, we gotta make sure we soak up every single second, and we're gonna take or give at least one thing because everybody ain't gonna be here. People we know, and I just want to say that before we even start to get energy right. I know y'all, it's getting deep. It's just our podcast. We deep with it. But I'm serious now because I know there's some people in here that dealing with some stuff. When they leave, they're going to be like, dang, this is cool. But dang, my uncle ain't going to make it. Or my grandma this. Or something like that. So I need y'all, while y'all here, y'all need to leave that somewhere else. Y'all need to be present in this space. And I want to say a few things. The reason why this event is so big and why I'm so excited right now, it's because, let's take it back. 2017. Around this time, about 2 days before, me, Daryl, my homegirl, Joanna Smith, we live, shout out Joanna Smith, we was in the Bahamas, right? And you can tell my energy was just off in the Bahamas a little bit. I was excited, and it's like one of the biggest weekend gigs in my life. Like, I went to the Bahamas, I got $4 grand, we only were there for like 15 minutes or so. It was crazy. So on the outside of the speaker, you're like, this is it. You going to the Bahamas, you getting paid like big bread, right? And I was like, what in the world? Like, I don't know what I'm doing. I had no aim. I had a conference that I was working on, and things in my spirit, I knew that, you've been on this road before. People that know me from the back, you've been on this road before with joining me in the table. Putting a lot on your shoulders, trying to do it. You know you're not ready to put on a conference. You're not ready to do that right now. But I was like, as an entrepreneur, as a hustler, first and foremost, that's what people that really know me, like, hey, Dave, my boy Mike, you were getting here, we were getting out with the little Gatorade orders, right? So back in the day, I was like, we're just going to put money on, we're going to make it work. But everything don't work like that. So it ended up, I came back, and I had to cancel my conference, doing some light stuff and everything, and I was like, this is the biggest thing I work with. I used to do Durham convention, and I was like, we really going to do it. Like, we booked out the convention, we put the deposit now, put $3 grand now, we really going to do it. And then it's all wrong. And then I took it so personal. I was like, I told them, I was like, I could not deliver. I had all this up in my own head, and I shut off for like 4 months. 4 months, because the crazy thing about it, I'm so excited to bring it up a little bit, is because we sold out this event, and if y'all look on Instagram, the last year I only made 2 Instagram posts. Outside of LinkedIn, I'm not out here, I'm not trying to get followers or anything like that, but when you really delve deep in relationships, and we're going to get in there, if you delve deep in who you are and give to people, it don't matter what you do for the most part. There's a caveat, because I don't like speaking all of this. There's some other stuff. But people are going to show up and show out and support you. So clap it up for that. we just started off with an $8 mic, a computer, and we said, yo, we just gonna do it. We had no name, no buzz. We said we just gonna do it. So that can get some of y'all excited. I'm gonna go more than this, right? This whole year, these last 4 months, been the most transformative months of my life. Like, for real. Like, I'm gonna be real. I'm gonna keep it 100. We about to probably, what we did last year financially, we gonna times 15, right? We did all this. And with the support of everybody, we're going to get to that really because I love it. The reason why I speak like this because I'm a realist. There's people in this audience that I'm going to point out that show so much favor, so much love, and that's in order to get to this point. But we did all this, and I'm a 29-year-old man, right? This whole time, this last year and a half, I ain't had no car. 100. We ain't had no car. We had people in this audience going to be here. They gave me rides almost every single day. Never asked for me, never complained. They believed in me. And I didn't say, oh, I don't have a car right now. I'm just going to not post on Instagram. I'm going to be low to the street. We just got to work. And people believed in me. When I was down there, it kind of just gave me energy. They gave me energy. They kept believing. And still to this day, like Deontay Wilder said, to this day. Seriously. I say this humbly. But in this game right here, going forward, ain't nobody here with it. Seriously, I say that I'm in the mic right here. There's nobody here, and I say that humbly because guess what? I realized my resources are all in this building. I want to say this something real quick, and then we can go get on the show. Like, Denise, April, my sister reached out to her last night and was like, yo, Greg needs that. She jumped on and said, I got it. Terry's going to be there and said, yo, I need some sound. I got it. Mike, I called him 20, got a full-time job. And that's gonna get my marketing in for all of the Trailblazers stuff, Sid and Cody of my own Trailblazer Nation podcast. We'll get to that in a second. But I called Mike 15 minutes before 10 a.m. to redesign my logo so we get on the banner. He did it, boom, did it, and then hit me back there. All resources in-house. I called him to need a banner. He got it shipped the next day. What else? There's so much stuff that people in this room this year took everything to the next level. That's the gap between this version of me and 2018. 2017-ish, I was like, yo, we need to beef up the brand. We need to connect with people. We knew all this other stuff. And I realized, no, we don't need to do none of that to be real. The people are already in. The people are already in the network. I hear all the time people say, nobody support what I'm doing. If you ask people really, not ask people support. I just said guys and talk to me, how can they support you? Like, how can they? Because sometimes we think it's more just money, but there's people with so much talent, resources, connection. We don't even look out and be like, what can we do? And the first thing we say is like, yo, why ain't nobody helping us back? And we put all these Facebook statuses up, new entrepreneurs, black people support black people. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. And that's why I'm glad, because the people that's here, black people support them. Like, I'm so proud of this. Like, I remember, I said this in Charlotte. There's 4 or 5 years ago, I got the video. We was in like a box inside that. All hot, working. This film, and then now, this is on his like second or third facility. Third facility, paid it in cash, and got the city rocket on the Lizzo. And I'm so excited here, but there's one thing I want to tell y'all. We jump in this thing, and I use my guest, and I did spell that wrong. And I'm gonna be real. I just practice on execution. I don't care about perfection. I'm gonna be real, I don't care about perfection. Because I was like, Jay was like, yo, we'll change it. I was like, let's go change it. We got big people in here. And I know if I didn't address it, I was like, but it is what it is because I'm gonna be honest, and this is live, but hopefully they ain't watching. But yo, we just signed a deal. Our first 5-figure deal to do one event, Minority Trailblazer Live, on a college campus. And yo, nothing was perfect. Websites weren't perfect. Life wasn't perfect. Life was happening. And we didn't use that as an excuse. We didn't use that not to go hard. We didn't use that as saying like, okay, no. We kept going. And I started to say, the mission is too great. That's it. That's the thing. If y'all leave anywhere, if y'all leave this thing like, oh, what I did, somebody ask, what's different? That the mission is too great. So right now, before I introduce our first guest, we talk about relationships with our first guest. I need y'all to say, the mission is too great. And when I say that, I'm talking about, and I said it this morning, and Justin was here with us. We running a mile. I'm running like, because y'all know I'm running. I got my 7:30 pace, and I'm telling y'all that, and I just fell quickly, and then I, what's that? Then we stop. No. This is a road, not a stop. Why don't you tell us? Stop. Hey, I'm like, hey, boy. And some of y'all give me the face like, this is where you going with that. Hey, y'all got a little more drink in your life. But seriously, like, when anything right now, as you leave this room, there's going to be some stuff that you can be like, yo, they said a lot of stuff, but I'm not ready to do that just yet. They said they were talking about changing your mindset. They were talking about business principles. I'm not ready to do that yet. You got to say the mission is too great. Because the reason why we say that a lot, and somebody had to call me out this year. 4 months in, before my mindset changed, before my life changed this year, I was down and out. They looked me in my eyes, and I said, yo, I thought you were going to say something like, the key, he said, Greg, you don't tell me that every day of my life. I was like, yo, I want to be here no more. You don't tell me that? They're like, yo, you look around. The people first of all, the vision and value that God has given you, and they were everybody in your life, you cut that off. That could have been somebody else's blessing. But you cut that off because your ego was at a point where you couldn't ask for help. You wasn't knowing that if you was on you, when you on you, lose. It's not you. And your gift right now, that's what I'm telling y'all right now, your gift, everybody in here is a genius and has a genius level gift. When Daryl asked, okay, what did you dominate this year? Y'all should have been like, I dominated something. Because y'all did. Every single person. I don't care if you're working financially. I don't care if you got a divorce. So everybody in here dominated something and still here. So let's keep that same energy. Let's keep that energy because I got to be right here. I love Michelle Obama. But a lot of y'all here don't know Michelle Obama. And y'all ride with it so much. We ride with it. We got friendly. I had my dad on my dad with me, my friend on Facebook. But there's people I support, people I just chance. And there's people in my life that do one mistake and we cut them off. We just leave them. And not to say everybody needs grace, because that's a whole other concept. I'm not saying that because we go to a whole different place. A lot of stuff happens in here, so don't quote me on that. I'm not saying that grace message. But what I am saying is the people that we really call friends. And that's why I'm glad I'm talking about relationships in the second season. Because relationships is not going to know how to get a man, we ain't on that. I don't got that type of gear. People that say we're not on that. But the relationship piece is so important. And I say that 110%. The relationship is so important. Because every single goal that we have, even though they're successful right now, because a lot of times people come to these things, they're like, I'm already successful right now, so I'm just here to give advice, talk, and stuff like that, and everybody will ask me questions. No. Everybody here is going to get something from this. But the relationships we have right now, we treat them the right way. We treat them the right way, regardless of what's going on. In 5 years, I met today, 4 or 5 years ago, 2014, all black high school, I went to go talk. He the only guy reached out. And we still talk to this day. Right? And there's so many people in this room, I can't shout everybody out. Go crazy. My student, Josh Sears, got to my own Trailblazer hoodie on to this day, show up and show out. And his sister, and I saw her sister too. And you doing your thing too. Everybody get love. But I'm serious right now. Relationships is so key. So without further ado, the first person I want to introduce my pastor. When I say my pastor, don't get it twisted. He don't get the mic and start saying, hey, well, everybody turn to John 13:33. I ain't made that type of shit. I didn't bring it on here like this, because I already see some of y'all supposed to grab me a little purse. Like, we ain't on that, right? But the reason why I respect him so much, because I'm going to be honest, a lot of people in this religious space, because this is a real question we be asking people in the religious space nowadays, right? We ask him a lot of information and stuff like that. He never shies away from having those conversations, even when he doesn't know the answer. He never stays away from that, but most importantly, I always lean to him at the man level as far as relationships, because I looked at the veil when people asked me, and I realized, like, before, outside of Bernice, nobody had, like, multiple kids, and I said, dang, I'm getting kind of old. I didn't make sure that people that I interviewed reflect what's really going on. People really have kids. People really are married. People really are doing a lot of stuff. So I can't just have people that just drop everything and start a job. No, because that's not what the Untitled Chapter is about. I'm going to be honest. If y'all thought we were going to come here and give y'all straight bits how to blow up your business, we don't really got that gear. Because the biggest thing is we transition. Matter of fact, he's going to address and share a story. So clap it up for him. Clap it up for him. I can't really read his bio because it's so long ago, but this dude right here, I feel like he's like the modern day. He's going to be one of the modern day MLKs, like the winter. Seriously, not one of those shit like, I'm going to gas him up. No, like seriously. This man's going to drop some value, drop some bombs. So, pleasure to have you. Sit down. I'm going to do my next guest. And my next guest is a young lady I was connected with by Daryl, Bernice, and man, she is very, very, very powerful. She has her own company, works with Charlotte on a lot of different areas, does pageants, has her own company, has nonprofits, and she raises her child. She's just dynamic. I really can't do her justice. And she came on my podcast episode, went crazy, and I said, we had like an hour and a half conversation. Y'all know, as you can say, I'm a rapper. You get me on the phone, I rap, right? That's why some of y'all laugh in my face when I called you. Y'all had to decline to text me, right? I'm like, hey, I thought it was up there. I thought when you see GegHill, you should go ahead and right here. Like, one day. But Renisha, like, she really amplifies what my new Trailblazer is. So I just want to bring her on. They're going to tell their own story. I got a couple questions. And in the next 30 minutes, we're going to rock out talking about relationships. So Renisha, when you're at, oh my God, I'm very good too. Clap it up for Renisha. You got another mic with the sound? You got another mic with the sound? Which one? And I'll just talk loud so we can do it. Go right here. And one of the first things I just want y'all to do for the audience is just share with the audience who you are and just a little bit about yourself, and then we're just going to jump right in. And the way we're going to operate this thing is half of it is going to be like conversational, but then the other half, there's going to be some questions that I ask or they ask. This audience is going to get involved in it. So, and the audience is not going to ask questions. If you want to jump in and say something, you can, but I just caution you, please, I promise, please don't get on the mic and start going left. Because I'm just going to be like, I'm just going to have to cut it. All right, please. I just been to so many, well, and it just get real left right here. So let's clap it. Get in, y'all, get in, y'all, get in. Take it away, B.
All right, so my name is Renisha Crawford. I'm from Gaston, North Carolina, born and raised. How much do you want to know?
Just a minute full.
Okay. So I have my master's degree in leadership, and I currently operate 3 businesses. The first is a for-profit company where I help organizations serve the youth that they serve, maximize their impact. So I work with a lot of police departments, getting kids who are first-time offenders. I get their charges dropped and expunged after they go through my training program. My second organization is my nonprofit, which is called the National Pageant. And this is a summer program for young ladies in high school and college. And I take them through 12 weeks of workshops. And they end up compete for $2,500, a scholarship for college. But the way they compete, they have to compete wearing no makeup, no weed, no body shapers, no fake nails, nothing. Like as you see me today, that's how they show up to compete. The third is my coaching business. I'm a certified life coach. And I just launched this whole platform where I'm beginning to help coach people through failure. Because I've failed 1 million times in my little short life. And so I think that we focus too much on the successes and not the failures that it took to get to the success that we have.
Before you pass that mic, you know, this is how I do on my shows. What was your biggest failure that you care to share from last year, 2018? You already know, that's what I do.
Well, that's my biggest failure. My biggest failure was failure in relationships. I didn't spend enough time trying to establish new ones, and I also didn't try to strengthen the ones that I had.
And we're going to talk in deep on my practices on how to strengthen because.
All right. My name is Larry Thomas. Once again, as Greg said, I am assistant pastor at Southside Church of Christ here in Durham, North Carolina. Amen. And I have to do my amen. But also, I am married to beautiful Greg Thomas. My community is to respect and from Cali, girl from Los Angeles, and we have 3 beautiful children. Amen. I'm real rightly. I'm also a full-time student at Duke Divinity School, where I'm currently in my 3rd year working on my Master's of Divinity. I'm also for a Master's of MBA and also a Master's of Arts in Ministerial Leadership. And so just trying to do some good stuff, trying to make the church relevant again, and do it in a very relevant way. So I'm just excited to be a part of this project.
No, let's jump right into it. What does the word relationship mean to you?
The word relationship, what it means to me is a mutual agreement between 2 or more parties. But it already is also a mutual agreement between the self that everybody else sees and the self that only you know. And And I'm going to leave it there because I keep going.
No, let's go a little bit.
With the latter, okay. So a lot of times when we talk about relationships, it's always external. We never sit and talk about the relationships that we have with ourselves. And everything starts there. You know, I can't build a relationship with Greg if I haven't built a relationship with myself. I can't expect Greg to do something for me if I won't do it for myself. I can't expect Greg to understand me if I'm not able to understand myself. So I think when it comes to relationships, the very first thing I think about is the interpersonal development and the process that it takes to really build a hole in the inside. Because if I can have a great, strong relationship within myself, I'll be a great, I will only be able to establish strong relationships with other people.
And I'll just piggyback on that, man. I think it was good that way. You're probably the expert. I'm just going to come on back in. But, and as you said, I think relationship is with connection, right? So in a relationship, it implies that there's some type of connection. However, I would even push it and say that I think that not all relationships are mutually beneficial. There are some relationships that are healthy relationships that are mutually beneficial, where there's symbiotic in a sense, where there's a mutual benefit, where there's not only a giving, but there's also a receiving. And then also, I think there's also unhealthy relationships that are parasitic, right? Where you got people who always pull away, always want what you give and not necessarily what you got to offer as well. So I think that it is dealing with that connection, and it's mutually beneficial in a healthy context, but it can very well be also unhealthy, because all of us know we've had unhealthy relationships that we still remain connected to, even when the person in the relationship is already left it. And so that's the idea.
And to stay in that pocket real quick, one, y'all can figure out which one y'all can hit both on the head. What is the typical strategy that you use to work with relationships that you know are unhealthy? Because, I mean, there's a two-way street with that. Then also, two, what strategy you use to cultivate and continue to grow relationships that are healthy? Because one thing we think that we're cool with somebody, the relationship is good, but then if we're not intentionally growing it, just like even with my parents. And I talk to my brother Dave all the time, and I love how he's connected and grown with his mother. And we're on my grandma over there, Kathy, and I realized now, approaching 30 years old, even at 29, when I was 20 years old, my relationship with my mom at 18, I never intentionally grew that. So now, at 29, I'm still now working towards how can what is my relationship now when I'm older? And I think that's one thing that people can come and talk about all the time, but I have to be intentional about that. Because now, there's conversations that I want to have, I don't have, and sometimes I'm like, oh, wow, my relationship's not like that. It's because I haven't intentionally put some time in and actually grow that. So I think we're good. And your boys, you think, oh, we're good. But people are grown, people have changed. And when we're good anymore, when you're 21, ain't the same we're good when you're 29. So I want y'all to talk about, and y'all can either piggyback or however you want to do it. What do we do with those, or what do you do rather, relationships that you know are cancerous, but also, too, how do you want to continue to grow relationships that you feel are mutually beneficial?
Bernice said something earlier when she talked about this idea of dealing with yourself first. And I think before you can grow and cultivate a healthy relationship, as you said, and I'm kind of just living it you, right? But I think you really have to work on yourself, right? It comes first. How can you be how do you have a good connection with someone else if first of all you don't have a good connection with who you are, right? So I think that you have to have a healthy view of yourself, right? You got to deal with yourself personally before you can really be a benefit to somebody else, or even a benefit to somebody, right? And so I think that's where I would start. It's about being intentional, right? It's about seeing yourself, not so much defining who you are through how other people see you. You know, and I think that's really key. There's a scripture I like. It's the story of this woman who has a disabling spirit, Luke 13. Is that all right? Yeah. And she is in a position where she's been over for 18 years. Jesus comes along, he says, I see you, and then he tells her, you will be made right? And at that moment, she doesn't start walking in that uprightness, right? He's already set her free. He didn't touch her. He didn't have to do anything. He just said, hey, you're set free. And it's because, number one, he sees her. And I think sometimes we put a lot of value in who we are based upon how other people view us. But at half the time, our folks sometimes may not see you because you may not be carrying or putting out what they want, right? That's number one. Number two, I think when he says, you're set free, she still walks over bed, right? And then eventually, she doesn't stand straight up. And I think that's really interesting to me because I think, for me, sometimes, even when we've already been set free, we're still looking for the validation from other people before we can walk in our level of freedom. And I think that sometimes you need to understand, when you've been set free, you need to walk in it, regardless of what the world or people around you do. And I think that's helpful, right, to deal with the self first before you can actually be a benefit to somebody else.
And before you pass the mic, I'm going to put you on the spot. You're going to probably ask about this. But specifically, as you preach, and as a preacher, it's really how you deal with eternally self-improvement, because ideally, you see a congregation, you're supposed to be perfect. And people hold you to a perfect standard, but how do you work on yourself and still perfect this to anybody else? Because all our leaders in here, you lead people, but we all have flaws. And sometimes you have to think, okay, and sometimes I used to battle my head, like, how can I lead somebody? I'm more than a speaker, but I got big flaws. So how do I still provide that same faith, but not be fake though? I can't do that. So that's why I used to withdraw, because I'm like, if I'm not leading by my example, people don't even see me out here. I'm not going to be like, hey, I want to vacation, but I realize I just did some bad business. I did all some, I can't do that. But you can do the worst thing ever, but every single Sunday, you still got to go in that thing. And as leaders, you got to make sure, even though we still want to grow in our own lives, we still got to show up. We can't retreat. Because I know I personally retreat a lot, and I'm working on that. But as we go into 2019, I want to make sure everybody in the Trailblazer and right. When they're not level, when they're not held to their own standard, how can they continue to push and show a great faith?
Yeah, well, I think that's a myth. I think it's a myth that you got to be perfect. Nobody is, right? And so I try not to even create that. Matter of fact, I try to create the opposite. And so I lead with this idea of, hey, y'all ain't perfect. Matter of fact, and I'm glad because you're not perfect either. And that's number one. Number two, I think that we learn even in life that none of your success comes without a limit. I mean, you don't get to be on the top of the world and not have scars and scratches, right? You don't have, you have moves, right? And so I think that there's more power in my limp than it is in my ability to be perfect or to sell to the people that I'm perfect. Because there's somebody else who's limping too. And they need to know that you can still do this even though you got these other issues that you do. And so I think you got to be honest, to be honest with who you really are and create that atmosphere.
Create that atmosphere.
What was the question?
You talked about dealing with maybe bad relationships, and now it's how you can cultivate the good relationships. I know you said you last year, but this year, what's your mindset on the friendships you have? But also, too, what about the friends that you're around you? They're not necessarily taken away, but what do you do with people? They're not taken away, but they're not added.
Well, I'm going to start with the second portion and then go to that. I think it's 100% extremely important for you to understand what makes a relationship unhealthy to you. Okay, because that word unhealthy and healthy, it can be different things for different people. So you need to understand what makes relationship unhealthy. Because once you can identify an unhealthy relationship, you'll know when you're in one, or you know when you have one. And the only way that you'll know what that is if you spend the time to have these conversations with yourself and self-reflect. I'm a huge advocate of self-reflection, asking yourself these questions, not necessarily having a conversation with someone else, because when we have conversations with other people, what we don't realize is happening is that their wisdom or their opinions is somewhat slowly being imparted on ours, and we're slightly changing how we actually really feel. So you need to have these conversations with yourself, no one else. Spend that time. And if you can't or refuse or won't spend that time with yourself, why would anybody else want to do it? So that's first and foremost. Establish what makes a unhealthy relationship to you. And when it comes to expanding on the relationships that you do have, I think what's really important is, one, what's the value? And what do you value in the relationships that you do consider healthy? And whatever it is that you value, maximize that, grow that. So for me, I love knowledge. You know, if you send me an article, if you send me some encouragement, I'm very cool text. If you send me some quotes, but if you send me like an article, a video, a book, or something, that is of value to me. We are going to have a healthy relationship, which you're feeding what it is that I need in a relationship. But it's my job to understand what's healthy for you, so that way I can feed that as well. This goes for romantic, personal, spiritual, whatever. So the words healthy and unhealthy, you gotta establish what those are. And once you know and you identify what those things are, that will help you determine how to grow those relationships.
Those are perfect answers. And I want to say one thing. If everybody in here, if you can think in your head, the top 5 friends in your life, right? Top 5 friends. Think about what their value is. Not in your life. Don't go about what their value is in their life. What their value is in general. Like, what are their strengths? And I think if I was to do a survey, I realized a lot of us, the people we have close in our circle, and I want to ask this question. I think we have our definition of friends is all wrong. Our friends is, okay, he's a cool cat, we can ride together, we can go to the club, or we can chill and talk. But it's like, you don't even know what they're good at. Like, so long, since been my boy for almost since high school, right? And we've had just a general friendship, and I consider him my boy. But it was still 3 years ago when we had a talk and discussion, and I realized this is the genius in audio production. And now, I want to hang out with Sid all the time and be a part of my circle, and that's why I brought Sid over to the team, because Sid, he developed my first big tape, he finished my first album, which is coming out of the market, the dope album, he did all that. But I had to ask myself, in my circle, what is his skill set? And we had that conversation. And it would shock y'all if I have gave everybody the mic, if you had to, what's your 5 friends? You had to identify what their strength is, how many y'all do I shoot? And it's not indicting, because I just realized the last couple of years. But I challenge for those that do have 5 friends in their life, they're closest to them, to have this call and say, what are they really good at? Like, not what you think you're good at. Because what you think, it may be totally different, and then that's why we have angst around it. Oh, my friends, they don't really do it much too. Because I know a lot of people say you are the 5 people around you. I believe that's a certain extent, but a lot of times the 5 people around us, we never had a conversation what they're good at. Because the only problematic thing in that state, you are the 5 people around you, when I see that, then you're telling people they're not enough. And the problem with that is you're pushing somewhere else, but you don't know. You maybe have some skills that you never had a discussion with them, and they can really be the resources you need. But you need to even ask those questions. But the second thing I want to do, this is specific to y'all situations right now, is how do you continue to grow relationships being now that you have 3 children and a wife and a congregation? So there's a lot of layers to all those relationships. So for my people in here that have a business, maybe relationship with their employees, have a significant other, how to grow that relationship, and then also too, they have customers that have involved. Like here, he has customers who are the Kimberly right over there, she's a beast at what she does. She has a significant other, so she has to develop that relationship, has to develop a relationship with herself, then has to develop a relationship with her clients, so she has a whole side business, but also works. That's a lot of layers right now. So how do y'all balance you as a husband, but also you as a single mother? How do you balance all those, not balance rather, how do you attack all those things? That balance thing is just a weird thing, right? So I'm going to let you lead off, and then you lead on it. And be specific to your situation.
I just want to add one thing to that statement of you are the 5 people around you. When people hear that statement, they automatically think about their friends, when you really need to think about the 5 people that you're spending the most time with. It is not my friends. You know, for people who are not entrepreneurs, it's probably your coworkers. So it's the 5 people that you spend the most time with, that's who you are going to more than likely be like. Not necessarily your top 5 friends. Because all of us spend more time talking to your coworkers and all that stuff more than we do our friends. So that's something that you have to analyze instead of, because like you said, it just come off as, you know, that your friends are, oh, can I curse? Okay, no.
Sometimes I have to curse.
for you. Stop congregation. We're going to say a prayer for your mom. You good.
But yeah, sometimes it does come off negative about your friendship. It's not that it's the Bible that you're spending most time with. That's really important to know. But for me, managing all the relationships that I have to build, I have to protect my energy, and I have to protect myself because I will run myself straight into the ground trying to appease all of these different types of relationships. My daughter is only 3. You know, my business is I'm only 2.5 or almost 3 years in business. I started in the same year that I had my daughter, which is like insane. But balance doesn't exist in my life at all. But for me, I have to decide how much, like, what's my stopping point, the boundary. You know, I can't give them more than this. You know, my little girl, sometimes I'll just turn that TV right on, and I hate that. And I was one of those mothers that I'm like, I'm never going to put a phone in her hand, and I'm never going to watch TV. She watches like all TV shows because I need time, I need a break. Sometimes I will lock the door, like lock myself in my bathroom because she knows how to open the door now. She's like, Mommy, what are you doing? None of your business. Okay, I'm trying to do my business. But it's having the boundaries, you know. I feel like I'm working too much if I'm putting too much time into, my relationship with my employees or, my business partner or, my family. When I feel like I can't give anymore, that's when I stop. And what I learned from that, when I was just talking about this in the car, that it's really important for you to fill yourself up so much to the point that you're overflowing. Because a lot of times we get what we don't have. In a relationship, you're giving. Come on, you're empty. You look around, everybody else full, and you're not. So you don't give until you are full. Okay? And I know people, that's not a popular thing at all, but for me, I'm a mother now. I have multiple businesses, and my businesses are just in the spirit of giving. I'm serving, so I'm constantly giving my time, my talent, my treasure, my energy, everything is giving. I'm changing people's lives. Well, I have to stop that. I have to stop it and make sure that I'm full. And when I'm overflowing, everything that's extra, then I can give that. And the most important part is, I know in church we learn how to get my points back. In church we learn like it's important to give. When you give, you receive. But you shouldn't give to receive.
Yeah.
When you give, you will receive. It's just going to happen. So the intent behind giving is also really important. But again, what I would encourage everybody to do is for me to help me manage all of these relationships that I have to build and focus on, I have to make sure that I actually have something to give to these relationships. And, I'm in a space where I'm receiving. I'm allowing people to give to me to help fill me up. I'm focusing on myself, self-reflecting, I'm reading, I'm praying, I'm meditating, doing all of those things. And I can only imagine that, I've operated in a place where of scarcity. I really didn't have a lot to give in the past couple of years. But as much as I have done and accomplished and achieved at a scarcity level, I can only imagine the impact that I'm going to have when I'm overflowing.
Okay. Before I go, I want to get a fast fact about Phoenicia. How old were you? Because every morning, your parents had you recite Bible scriptures every single morning, you and all your siblings, right? How many years did that happen? 18 years of her life. Her parents woke her up and how long Bible study?
We had Bible study in the morning. At 5 a.m. So it was 5 o'clock prayer. My dad would read scriptures. He had them all over the wall. We never recite them. And then when he got home from work at 6 o'clock, we had 6 o'clock Bible study. And we would pray again at Bible study. Then he would leave to work because he used to work 2 jobs. Because there's 10 of us, 5 boys, 5 girls. And when he left, my mama came back and had Bible study again. Sometimes saying the opposite that Daddy said. But that's okay. But we had Bible study again. So that was my life. It was nothing but religion and Christianity and scriptures and prayer and all of that stuff. For 18 years of my life, I felt very full. And that's probably why I'm able to give now. But now it's, I don't have that routine anymore. That was like morning, night, evening, every day. I'm not going to take it to the week schedule. So don't make it. Okay. But as much as that the information is what they imparted in me, that filled me up. So when I was able to be free 18, leaving the nest, I did have a lot of things to get because all my life, that's what my parents just so seasoned me, you know, and unfortunately in a short amount of time, I done gave it all away. You know, so when it comes to relationships, you got to, especially in 29, you know, it's important to, again, be self-aware, have that check-in with yourself. Where am I right now? Because it doesn't really matter what happened before. You know, it's important to understand where you've been, but you also need to assess where you are right now, where you want to go. And in order to do that with relationships, with me personally, I have to fill myself up, like I said, to the point that I was before.
Give me that question one more time. So, in the context of a leader of your congregation, a husband, a father of 3, and just your in-person, you also in school, like your master's degree, and eventually a doctorate, and study. How do you plan on maximizing each of those relationships? Like, what do you have a strategy? How do you even tackle that? Because that's a lot.
So I think one is communication. Right? So, I'm not doing anything that me and my wife haven't already agreed that that's what I should do. Right? So we're there together. And so I think that's number one. In communication, though, however, we got to spend a lot of time listening. And it's good to be married to somebody who hasn't bought into all the hype that sometimes people can put in your head. You know, especially when you go to church and you go to school, you go always saying certain things about you, gassing you up. You know, well, when I come home, my wife, she makes sure that I stay on the ground. And that's really good, you know. And because in this moment of communication, I really have to hear her, you know, and not, you know how sometimes in communication where there's a lot of talking going on, but ain't nobody listening. You know, and oftentimes what happens is in a relationship, especially a marital relationship, you know, you can find yourself spending a lot of time talking at each other, but not really listening to each other. And so I try to make sure I listen. It's hard. It's hard because also it takes a bit of humility because it's hard to hear somebody tell you what you need to hear, especially when you know they're right. And I tell you this like for real, like this is my biggest secret. This is what makes me so good. What makes me so great is my wife is so much smarter than I am. So y'all listen, I'll tell you. So before I say anything to you, I've already said to her. And she usually gives me points. I'm serious, that's for real, that's for real. And she'll probably tell y'all know that ain't true, but that's real, that's really real. So that's one, communication. And then when it comes to my children, I've been one too. I really look down on how we can sometimes allow the TVs to babysit our children. And not TVs, the iPads. You know, we got like 3 iPads in the house, right? And so my kids always ask, hey, Daddy, can we use iPads? And because we have a lot going on, it's really easy to pass somebody and be like, yo, take the iPad. And even though that happens, I feel so bad about it sometimes. The work I get done sometimes. But I think what we do is we try to be intentional about having time that's specifically for them. You know, and not just on Friday, but every day. Every day we take time, we try to find it to where we spend time, even if it's just an hour, just spending time listening to them tell stories in circles, because that's what kids do, tell stories in circles. But you just listen to it, and you follow it, you know, and you let them know that when they got your attention, that it's a big deal, right? And so I think that's what I do to try to manage those relationships. And then when it comes to the church, I learned what I'm learning to do is, number one, to be honest. Because a lot of times we're not honest, especially when you work at a church where people sign the check. And people don't sign my check, you know, but still at the end of the day, I'm accountable to them. But even though I'm accountable to them, I love this line. I work for the church. I work for God. And so I use that line. But also, it's another thing when you're working in a context where you're dealing with people, I've learned to gravitate toward this word, and the word is imperturbability. And imperturbability simply means, and it's almost like a meditation you have to do, where you have to remind yourself that folk will come at you sideways, they will come at you with all types of stuff, noise. But in all of it, you have to remember that you got to be unbothered.
you got to keep your composure. And that's right, be unbothered. No matter how bad it is, no matter how difficult it is, you don't let people get you out of what you're on task to do. And so imperturbability is my word. That's what I do, right? And I hope that speaks to those questions.
That answers. I have one question before we transition to the business portion. And we're going to alter the schedule a little bit. I got something planned at the end where we're going to get audience to have questions and audience. More so, I'm going to plan at the end. Audience, I got some special here for the audience, right? So we won't have a question right now specifically, but at the end, stick with us, and I'm going to get the audience involved because a lot of times in this space, and I'm going to be clear, I know you come for a lot of wisdom, you have questions in your heart, but I wanted the people to leave this building, not just leaving, the speakers are dope, who's a great event, but at least leaving it, I'm dope. I'm a trailblazer, and I got something that's going to flip a little bit at the end. So, unfortunately, after you have this, we'll make a transition, and there'll be time after for questions, but we'll have to, I want to stay on time. So, the last question for y'all, and I'll take a second if you want to think about it, is what would you tell, knowing what you know now, your 21-year-old self? Right? And I'm going somewhere with this in my next guest. I'm layering it a different way, but for y'all in particular. And it could be for you specifically, before you had a kid doing what you know now, and then for you specifically, it could be before you got married.
Leave him. I still gotta let that sit for a second. Not because of the person, but for me. I gave for 7 years of my life in a relationship. Gave. And I would have told myself to leave him and to remain alone. Remain alone. I love my daughter to death. Love her to death. But the time that I needed to develop as a woman was taken from me, and I gave it away. But it was taken from me. I didn't have that time to develop as a woman to understand my value. I didn't understand relationships, how to truly be in one with myself, with other people. It really affected every aspect of my life. So, to be locked down, it sounds really negative, but to be so committed, so early, for so long, not knowing so much about the world and, myself, had a really, I don't want to say a negative impact on my life because I wouldn't take anything back or learn from him, but I think I would have been a stronger woman, sooner, if that makes sense. So if I could tell myself anything when I was 21, no matter how hard it was, no matter how sold I was on, the situation I was in, I would tell myself to leave him, listen to my mom but to leave him for me. Because I think we deserve to have time invested into ourselves. And I can only imagine if the energy that I put into the relationships that I had, I can only imagine what type of person that I would be today if I had invested that energy into myself. And so nothing against the person, but it's all about, me giving the energy that I was giving to someone else. It's all about giving it back to myself because I deserve that. And that's the only way that I'm really going to flourish and be the person that I'm supposed to be.
Yep, I hope y'all enjoyed the business format, man. Dez indeed dropped another jewels. So many jewels, man. As we transition to the next round, yep, we got another ad, but it's our own ad. Yo, if you have not joined the mastermind group already, go check it out, GregEHill.com/mastermind, or just go to the website. It's on the top level. So, yeah, if you want that accountability, you want that type of push and focus, make sure you join us. Also, if you have not received anything from the last 2 sessions, you might need to stop listening anyways. You feel me? Like, it ain't going to be it for you. But if you have, make sure you're sowing a seed to the Capital Improvement Campaign. That's GregEHill.com/CI Fund, or just cash out the boy. Cash App sign, GregEHill. That's all I got for you. Enjoy the next session.
So our next 2 guests, I'm going to introduce my brother Desmond Scott first. I already gave you a little spill about him, but he's one of the guys who's actually younger than me, but I always looked up to the way he built and organized himself as a business, his discipline, and his foresight to, when somebody tells no, he's going to find a way, period. And he's going to be honest with you. If he can't do something for you, he's like, no, I can't do it. It ain't going to be no pacify like, oh, gee, I got you, and then you holler at him, and you ain't picking up the phone. We all got friends that promise a lot, but then when the time's come, they just never there. But he's a guy that's always been honest, but most importantly, I know that many probably setbacks in business, but he never stopped. Just continue to keep going and building, not just like build. And I'm just impressed with his been able to do a prom, and just in general, his whole attitude. And I had him at Charlotte, and he's one of the brothers that if I ever needed something, he just say, okay, where's that? He never needed with the whole, and he could. He's like, all right, how much? What's going on? How am I going to flip my brand? How you going to put my petrol? Whatever. He's like, yo, where's that? Like, man, every single time, where's that, man? So, he's going to talk to you about on the journey, but let's clap it up for Desmond Scott. And next, but certainly not least, I really want to be intentional when we have this business portion, because a lot of times we have these events just for entrepreneurs, right? But it's not the case. We have people that are a variety of different disciplines. So I wanted to highlight and showcase a strong black woman that wasn't necessarily in the entrepreneur space technically, but that supports not only black business, but supports business as a whole and has a wealth of knowledge. And I was like, I called one of my fraternity brothers, Jay Gunn, and I was like, hey, Jay Gunn, I shoot me somebody that's doing some dope stuff, but it's not in the phase of starting to try to do it. It's in the phase of like, we've accomplished certain things and I can speak to some things. He said, yo, even do it. I said, okay, cool. So I looked it up and I was like, oh, snap, I need to get even do it, right? So then I reached out to me and she said, immediately, all right, time me up, where is that? Let's go. I'm not going to read a long bio, but all I know is she's a dynamic influencer in Durham, and she don't brag about it. It's not online about it. But she can make moves, make stuff shake, make money shake, and do all these things. And I was so excited that we're going to get there. But let's clap it up for Demon Dude. So one of the first things we're going to ask, is for y'all to share just a little bit about who you are, where you're from, a little bit about yourself, just give the audience a little bit of context.
Sorry, I'm a little bit bored, so hopefully the voice is around. My name's Eva Dugal. I'm a little bit conflicted. I'm from Raleigh. Grew up in Raleigh, went to school in Greensboro, UNCG Spartan, majored in communication studies, have had a winding road through my professional career since then. I will say that this solidifies my transition into the old head space. Because when one person talks about how they're in their 20s, I'm telling you, I can start to see gray hair now. I'm not in my 20s anymore. I just texted a friend and say, girl, you're almost out of the young professional group. But anyway, by day, I lead Senior Vice President of Diversity and Inclusion at a bank called Pacific West Bank. It acquired a bank called Square One in October 2015. I led community co-founder of a nonprofit called Black Wall Street that puts on the Black Wall Street Homecoming here in Durham. I do a bunch of other nonprofit stuff, but that's kind of in a nutshell who I am.
Love that.
Good evening. Great, thank you. I'm Desmond Scott, owner and founder of the Prime Athletic Training and Fitness Institute. I'm from Durham. Graduated from Hillside in 2009. Graduated from Duke. Come on now. Graduated from Duke in 2013 with a double major and a minor in African American Studies and History and Education. I'm 28.
We have discovered there's a decade between us.
But she doesn't look it. Doesn't she look good? But I'm excited to be here and share knowledge with you guys. Normally when I have these opportunities to speak either with Greg or anybody else, most of the time it's about health and fitness. And one of my goals for 2019 is to break into the space to talk business. You know, I tried to do it before, but nobody really jumped on it. So I'm excited to be here and talk about how my business started and the blessings that it's been.
So before I jump into the hardball stuff, I want you to break down you is from the ground up
the birthday business from actually, you talk and then transition from the birthday business until now in like kind of like a 3 to 5 minute point. And then you can just share just some highlights of your twisted journey in your own space, and then we'll cut to where I really want us to go.
Yeah, well, so I would say that my life was kind of set up for me not to fail, right? If I was to ever do a book, that's what it would probably be entitled. My life was set up for me not to fail. Coming out of high school, I was #1 running back in the state, #23 in the nation. I had the opportunity to play at any college I wanted to for free. And my top 5 colleges was Clemson, Florida, Georgia, West Virginia, and Rutgers.
It's just, that's the way it is. So my co-founders and I, we got together, being in Durham for work, and a lot of them live in Durham, and we said, what is rich history that Durham has around Black entrepreneurship, Black wealth, people working together? So we launched a nonprofit that focused on providing access to capital for Black and minority entrepreneurs. So that's where Black Wall Street Home Company is.
Supposed to be doing, but I gotta make it plain to you how to do it so you do it the way I want. Like don't have high expectations for your firm. Right? Yes, you bring them on for a role, but you're gonna have to do a lot of self-reflecting so that they can do it the way you want it to be done. What was the question again? I'm sorry.
Business and life. If you have another specific point.
No, I'll go ahead and go into life. There's no such thing as balance. And it's very easy to lose yourself and your relationship with God when you're so focused on making your baby an adult. Right? In 2017, 2018, I was so focused on relationship and gym that I wasn't being led by the one who got me to that point. And then because I wasn't being led by him, clearly I couldn't lead myself. Right? And when you get to a point where you understand and you realize, like, yo, I'm losing myself. Like, I'm not doing the things that I used to do. I'm not enjoying my life like I once did. You have to put brakes on it. And you have to come to grips with self and understand, like, why it's actually happening. Right? So don't hold your people to super, super high standards. And there's no real such thing as a balance. Right? And don't lose the connection with God because He got you to the point you want.
2018 business lesson. The recurring thing, but it's to do the work, right? I think people get so caught up in, doing work because they want to see and recognize, but like do the work because your name is attached to it, and everything else will fall into place. That's a big thing for me. I think also along the lines of like your point about people doing things the way you want it to be done, I had learned to detach myself from the process and just keep control of the outcome. So I, as a leader now, all I tell people is where we need to be, right? How do we get there? I can't do it. I can't. And I had a conversation with an intern once, and I said, if I have to do your job and my job, why do I keep here? So I empower people to be able to figure it out for themselves and just hold them accountable for the outcome. So it's crystal clear what the outcome should be, but I no longer have the capacity to get involved in how they get there. On the personal side, funny, I just had to say, you know what, I'm going to enjoy the process. Very remote about, I'm very list-oriented, my friends call me the cruise director, I plan everything, I'm that person. But in 2018, I just had to decide to enjoy the process because there's so much work, there's so much stuff, my calendar is so full, and I just got so busy going from thing to thing to thing and planning the next thing that I was missing out on the process. So the biggest sort of lesson and accomplishment for me in 2018 was learning not to be so focused in my personal life on the next thing, but enjoying the here now.
So I have allows you to actually build your business from scratch. Because like you didn't take out a loan to do this facility. You didn't go cry. You probably look at the bank when you go to tell your story. But it was cash. It was straight up. And many of us in this room, for those on the business side, of course it is smart when you come into these things. You look for money, but when those doors are closed, how can you still make those steps when if you look at the outside looking in, there may not be a way to really see. And then it's easy to do is how can you curate or grow your influence from a corporate perspective? Because I know sometimes from a corporate perspective, or this is general for those of everybody not an entrepreneur, or everybody is worried about some of the vanity metrics, or let me get more shares, let me get this, let me get that, which are important to a certain degree. But there are people that, not even on social media, they're making huge waves and influencing people, creating partnerships, and really planning straight behind the scenes. So how can those people that are in the audience right now, with their business or with their lives, start to grow their influence in their own circles, etc.? So I'll let you start today.
Yeah, I would start with saying keep your foot on the pedal. The relationships that you have, and not making it as complicated as most people do, right? Start small. One thing that this guy said to me was, don't outrun your headlights. Right? Don't outrun your headlights. If we're driving in a car, you only can see so far, right? And we have this big goal of where we want our businesses and our lives to be, and we can see it, but it's a little blurry, right? And if you don't outrun your headlights, you can always see what's going on in front of you, right? And that's kind of what I did with the business. To be honest, I didn't do a business plan until 2017, right? I didn't know how to do one. You all right? So serious. Like, business started December 2013. I did not write a business plan until 2017. And the reason for that was because I didn't start off to make it a business. Like, it was a side hustle, and the popularity of what we provided grew it into a business. And I learned everything as I was going. Like, literally learned what an LLC was, what an S Corp was. Like, I named my business something even before I even had it established. Like, I didn't outrun my headlights. I let the the day-by-day stuff create what we actually have now. We're based upon faith, family, and fitness. And that didn't come until like 2 years in, where I was having a conversation with the young lady who I graduated with. And I was like, I got to have God in my business some kind of way. And I was like, but I don't want to be overbearing. I don't want to be negative to people who don't believe what I believe. And she's like, well, Des, it's through you how people are going to see God. And that didn't come until 2 years later, right? After we already created the LLC. So my business was created step by step over the years of the people forcing us to grow. So don't outrun your headlights. Not making it super stressful, right? What was the word? That word.
Like you can't be perturbed, like bothered.
That is me all day long. Right? That is me all day long. Like, I'm not going to stress. I'm not going to allow what you're talking to bother me, and it gets me in trouble with my girlfriend all the time. Like, okay, you're emotional right now. Well, let's try to figure out how we're going to fix it. Like, I don't have the time right now to be emotional with you. Let's fix this. Right? It gets me in trouble. Right? But that's how I was in business. I think that's how you should be to a certain extent. Like, if you're trying to go do something, you can't let other people's actions and emotions and things like that throw you off your path. Right? So my level for stress, like, God got it, I'm gonna figure this thing out. Because we're trying to understand, I was 22, I left a guaranteed paycheck and health benefits. All right, so my relationship with God at 22 was off the chain. All right, so it's like, yo, you're not going to stress me. This is what I'm trying to get to. It's my job to service these individuals that are coming in my life, so much so that I got it tattooed on my ribs, servant, because I'm a servant of God, and it's my job to service you guys. Like, that's my job, and I take it very, very seriously. So don't outrun your headlights, and don't make people stressed out.
I want to say something before I forget. So along the lines of the last relationship, there's a lot of conversation around your relationship with yourself, your relationship to others. How many of y'all heard of Greg's Rubin before? No? Okay. See, I'm going to give y'all one person. So Greg Rubin is an author. There is a book that she wrote called The War Tendencies. So basically, it's how you relate to yourself and how you relate to other people. There's ways you can take, and I'm going to try to remember the four. Either you're an obliger, you're an upholder, a rebel, or a questioner, right? And those are all basically like an obliger is someone who always does things for other people but might let themselves down. A rebel is a person who doesn't do anything for either. And it's like if I say I'm going to go to the gym and I don't go to the gym, that someone else asks me to take a meeting with them and I do, and that's all in another category. So it's really an interesting tool. It's one of those personality profiling. So I wanted to share that with y'all. It's free. So how can you raise your profile in a corporate setting without all the rah-rah social media? Again, do your work. Y'all can say that over and over again, right? Like, be the person that when something comes up, they say, oh, I can call you to do that. Be the person who knows, people know that you're the expert in that. Don't go selling tickets to something that you're really can't cash up, right? I think in the age of social media and technology, a lot of people have this inflated sense of self-worth, right? They think they're an expert at something when really all they did is read a couple of articles online. No shade to the people like that. That's not me. I know what I'm good at, and that's what I do. I stick to that. I stick to what I know I can add value. And I think that when you do that, and you have a portfolio of things that when someone comes to you to ask you about your work, you can point to examples. I think that's how you build, you build yourself as an expert. Then the flip side is self-promotion. A lot of times, especially when we don't promote ourselves, we don't promote our work, right? So it's got to know, do work, be good at it, and then tell people about it. So I'm not opposed to people sharing their wins or sharing their work on social media when it's something that you've done. But really got to have authenticity and depth to what it is that you're offering. So I think those are the things.
And it's crazy what you said, like the key word is that value piece. And a lot of times people search it's crazy. And that's why I tell everybody, you have friends in your life, you just let them know what their value is. Like, as much time as you can, let them know, because a lot of people, somebody can tell you what they're good at, but it's hard for you to get yourself. Because I don't know why, we got that inherent humble factor in us. We're like, well, I don't know. What's your strength? I don't know. Like, what do you mean you don't know what your strength is? Like, oh, what? Like, you have kids, you don't know that. No strength? But it's crazy, but I realize that even growing up, a lot of times, I love my dad to death, but unfortunately, and I love him, but he didn't always tell me verbally what I was good at or why he loved me. And this thing I provide, I already know. But it's like, no, you can verbally tell me. And with my friends, even sometimes they want to verbally tell them, oh, you're good at this, or this is phenomenal, because a lot of people have a hard time seeing what our value is. So you said something about, well, that's no value, people know about our value. But then I think we need to really spend time and fine-tune on how to articulate our value. You said, okay, share your value. I think everybody doesn't really necessarily know how to share their value. So what is that? So you kind of break down in your own head, right? Someone asks you, okay, what's your value on this and what you do? How does somebody articulate their value? What is the steps to do that?
I think it's important to, might be a little controversial, but like I appreciate that your passion is holy, right? But we have all these resources available to us to figure out who you are in this age, right? There are all sorts of personality profiles, there are all sorts of job descriptions, and there's a wealth of information on the internet that you could go and see, oh, this is me, right? YouTube, all these different resources, right? So go and see what resonates with you, right? I am an author. I love to write. I don't love numbers. I can do numbers, but I love them, right? So I know, like, what my thing is. And I think if we all spend more time to figure out what our thing is, then it'll be easy for us to articulate, right? But I think that also, there's formulas and there's also many resources on the internet about how to develop your own personal pitch. Because how do you want to be seen? When you meet someone, what do you want them to see? I want people to see me as an outgoing, articulate, personal woman. That's what I want to be seen as. And I hope that's what I share when I make an introduction. So I think you have to go and do some exploring. If you don't know already, right? You have to go and explore and then point yourself through resources on how to authentically create an elevator pitch. You don't, I'm not going to say, hey, I'm even too on me, right? I'm not going to do that, right? But I'm going to say, hey, I'm Dee. I'm really passionate about learning, inclusion, and creating spaces for people to feel like they're valued and welcome. So if I say that, hopefully you get who I am, right? Or hey, I'm Dee, I enjoy volunteering with organizations that promote child welfare, or whatever you're doing, right? You want to talk about yourself in a way that you want to be received. Hope that's helpful.
That's great. To add to that, and I got a question to wrap up. To add to that, I love that piece, and I think one big thing we think about is we think about cultivating relationships with others. And I want to go back to that honesty piece. Because it's difficult really sometimes to be honest with ourselves on the mistakes that we are making. Like even, like I said, earlier this year, when we're building on conferences, doing things that I wasn't qualified to do. I didn't hire a conference planner. I didn't hire a conference planner. I didn't have the budget to hire a conference planner, so I did it in the conference, period. But, and I can say for all those people, you need to try to tell things. I've already tried that before and failed, so it's not, so I couldn't give myself that act, but I still did it, but I wasn't honest with myself. I wanted to believe what other people believe, like, oh, you can do everything, no, you can't do everything. There's boundaries for a lot of things in the region, like, if we go past the yard and we see a fish, there's a fish there for a reason, half the time. So I have to tell myself, even to this day, certain things that I can do, because I know now that you are the vice president, and you do a lot of things with crime. There's opportunities to invest in business, opportunities to network, partnership, and all those other things. But you have that balance of what you will do and what you won't. So before I ask my last question, how do y'all do now when y'all in your business now deal with boundaries? Because everybody in here has a role, either in their job, even with their relationship with kids, where there's certain boundaries that have to be put in place. But this is all, for me, it's all new to me now. Like, I really have to think to myself, okay, I can't do that. Even though I'm cool with you, I need to know, okay, what's going on here? I just can't be like, oh, boom, let me go do it. So how do y'all really establish, you can start first, how do you establish boundaries in your workspace and who you in your interactions now?
Oh, that's a really good question. So you said earlier that there is no balance, right? I had this, like, last year, coming at me last year, like, opportunity. And I'm not opposed to leading figure brain. You'll see some people, and I hope nobody can get all that. Some people are like, oh, can you move past the, can I figure brain? I'm all for people asking me questions about something that I can help you with, right? But I had to learn to say no and not feel bad about it. Because I had to learn how to protect my time. Because the work is always going to be there. So for me, it was, what's the least amount of effort or time for the highest amount of impact? That's how I made my decision, right? So if someone needs 15 minutes or 30 minutes with me, and that'll move the needle for them in their life, I'm happy to do it. But if I'm signing up for another project and it's not necessarily going to do anything, I can't do it. So that's kind of how I've learned to, really prioritize my own personal time. I'm not married, I don't have any kids. So when you are unmarried, you don't have kids, people think that your time is their time. So people sign you up for all for them, right? So I have to so I had to say, this is how I'm going to judge every opportunity. And a lot of times it is about money. I turned down an opportunity to make money on a side project, but it was going to take up every hour of my personal time. And I didn't actually know.
I will talk about boundaries when it comes to opportunities within the gym, right? I think a lot of people, if they start one business and they have the opportunity to start another one, I would be the one who says, figure out what you're good at and then create other businesses that surround what you're good at, right? And I had to learn that with myself because I wanted to do this, because I had the money to do it. It's like, well, no, that doesn't make sense. One of the smartest business people that I'm really hip to right now is Jay-Z, right? On Meek Mill's album, he's on What's Free, right? And he was just talking about all the things that he owns or co-owns, and I was like, yo, that's crazy. Ace of Spades, Duce, Tidal, Rockefeller, but it all surrounds rap. It's like, yo, I'm good at rap. I'm good at rapping. I'm good at storytelling. What can I do that surrounds this? And so for me, it was like, okay, well, there's your business. I want to make it like Target, right? What I mean by making it like Target is like you can go to Target. Y'all ladies know y'all can go to Target and spend hours in Target like it's the mall. And it's because you got electronics, you got grocery stores, you can buy clothes, you get shoes, you get whatever you need from Target for the low, right? And what I realized is like, yo, that's what I got to make Prime, right? I got to bring you into Prime, and I got to want you to be here all day long. Right? And how do we do that? Okay, well, I put a hair salon in the gym, ladies. Right? So come on, come work out. Don't worry about sweating it out. We good. We got a wash bowl in the back. We're going to get you right. And we're going to break you up. Right? Oh, you got kids? Okay, we got a full-time daycare too. Well, you can drop your kids off for up to 4 hours. You got a date? Don't worry about it. Bring them to us. You trust me. So you're going to trust your kid with me, right? No matter who the daycare person is, you trust me, you trust Prime, you're going to be okay with leaving your child there, right? So we're creating an environment where you want to spend time there. Like it's not just a gym, right? We have people that come to the gym now, right? Some in the audience, like, yo, they'll come to the gym, they'll work out, and they'll stay for another 2 hours. Like, yo, go home, bro. Like, you have a job. It's cool. But I enjoy it. Like, that's the environment that I wanted to create, right? So when establishing a business and you're ready to venture off into another one, right, ask yourself, what am I good at, right? If it's hair, right, well, your next thing needs to be, I'm going to create some oils that's going to help this hair, right? Or I'm going to bring on somebody else that knows how to do a style that I don't know how to do. They gonna pay her, but she gonna pay me, right? So you just created two types of businesses, right, from the foundation that you're good at, right? You're not wrecking your brain, right? So I'm not killing myself. To get back to your question, like I'm not killing myself trying to work on different projects outside of the gym. I'm adding them into the gym.
Man, that's a vibe. So I do close.
Strategy.
Yep, strategy.
That's it. That's what you just talked about, right? Like, so it's being strategic, right? Like, if you have an opportunity, pull up from what you're doing and be strategic. So, you have your core business, right? And then you have all these ancillary businesses or opportunities, and make sure that what you're doing ties back to the main, right? And if it doesn't, let it be. Like, the opportunity needs to be so lucrative that you can be stupid not to do it, right? But otherwise, it doesn't make sense because you're splitting your brain into, or you're putting your brain in unrelated directions, right? So if you're going to do a gym, sure, smoothie bar, hair salon, all that makes sense, but it might not necessarily make sense for you to try to open a hotel, right? So these are the things that we're talking about business principles, being strategic, taking time to do not necessarily a vision board, but for a full-fledged business plan, but really be intentional about where you want your business to go. Because part of not outrunning your past life is understanding what might come along, right? So, paying attention to the things that might come from the left or the right, and you really have to be strategic and intentional about doing those things in order for your business to be successful. And one of the things that we focus on a lot is helping businesses grow and scale. You're an excellent example of someone who started a business and you're growing and scaling isn't by multiple locations, but it's growing and scaling by adding more to it. You're going to be exponentially better at what you do and create way more money and streams of revenue as opposed to just that one thing. So when you start to think about, at least y'all taking that today, really think about who you are, what you're good at, and then how you can be strategic in growing that business.
I love that. Wow. The last thing I want to say, first of all, you talking about words. You talking real good. I have a lot of thoughts about it, but I can't articulate it all the time. So that was pretty good. Okay? That was good. But she was like, know what you're good at. Know what you're good at. What did you say? Know what you're good at.
Know what you're good at.
Right. So know what you're good at, right? And I will add on to that. What the people want and how can you give it to them consistently. Right? Knowing what you're good at and self, what am I good at? Okay, good. Now, the people who want what you're good at, how can you give it to them? And how can you give it to them at a consistent level, high? Right? 3 good questions.
Greg's going to kill you.
I wanted to say one thing to that because I think the gap that I was missing, because I'm all for it, I believe in having visuals, having those things. But when you just did some deep just now, you said, I'm not good at words, and can you help me with that word piece, right? So when I was in that step is, I had no problem having ideas, starting ideas, but I need people around me with another, that next level of business IQ, right? So there's a group that I have, I just go random ideas with, we build that. But there's also a group of individuals I have that have all different skill sets and say, okay, you have to level up to the next level. And I didn't realize, and it's no mistake to do ideas, but I didn't realize that I needed other help. I said, I went to those things that help me ideas. I had them to help me take the next level, and they had tools. But I realized where you can humble yourself. There are those people, but I didn't really delve into this, so how can I find them? And stop at nothing until you find them. Don't just, because if you keep asking, okay, we'll stay here and have this, let's break it to have the vision. Break the vision, you have some people's vision, but we have to make it our destiny to find who are the other people that can support me, can bring me to life, but also who want to add this. We can still reach out to people that are farther ahead, but we got to make it easy for them to give us advice. Make it easy. So when you email, don't just say, hey, I'm starting this. What do we have to do? No. Make it okay. I'm starting this. And did you see your audio lesson, the minute audio lesson, what you would say to a 20-year-old that does X, Y, and Z? Like, be creative on the advice they give you, so they don't have to, if you make it do a lot of work, like, okay, I'm 21, I'm going to start this, what do I do? How do I get money? That's a broad question.
And I'm not going to answer it.
You're not going to get ignored. But I'm telling you, if you out there, you would believe they would give you some support, give you advice, if you didn't talk a little more creatively on how to make it. Like, my boy D, right? My boy D, I just put it in work. I didn't know this business idea, but he said, you call 6 figures the first year as motivation to be clapping it. So, I had him on a podcast, and the time of the mistake, I had a young brother, we got to the day, so I sent him one email, he gets back, I'm like, what you mean? Okay. I read the email, he said, I'm trying to get into speaking, how do I start? And that's what you, a guy that is obviously first got to that, and that's how you want to approach it. No disrespect to him, but it's like, what are some other creative ways so that if you think, if you're doing that you can give advice? So make it simple, because there's people that are in the industry you want to be in, they want to give you advice, but you got to make it simple for them to actually give it to you, and I guarantee to help you out. This last question I want to leave you on.
It's not also about the email, it's about how often are you willing to follow up. But sometimes, people that you're trying to get up, oftentimes there's other things going on in their mind. So that first email might not be seen, but it's that second email, that third email, where I often say, here's my cell phone number, give me a call. So how persistent are you in wanting to get that help?
And pull up on you see it in your city. In my city. I'm just disrespectful. You young cat in my city. Hey, you see me running? Oh, where you run through back? I'm gonna show you the run through. Oh, swear back. Oh, I'm gonna not to be that creepy, but I'm gonna be real. Like if you really want something, okay, I really want to break into this corporate sector. She's a good next in Durham. Let me find out what she's running. Let me do something. Be real. If you really want it, there's people out there that are willing to give you that game, but it ain't gonna be as simple as sending an email.
Tell them you can't present about it. I sliced up my vacation, basically ruined it because I wasn't willing to say, hey guys, I've already planned. I should have told them. It would have volunteered, it would have been fine if I was too scared. And so, looking back on it now, I should have just said when they moved the meeting, like, hey, I already had something scheduled, but I didn't. So that's what I was talking about. That's an exercise in strength. It's an exercise in knowing your shit, sorry. But I should have done that because I took the easy way out. I said, okay, I'll just reschedule. And it took me a day to get Martin here to Beverly Hills, but I should have done it differently.
What I would tell 2018 Desmond is to continue to work actively as you come. And that's not just 2018, that's 2017, 16, and 15. Because I saw other people getting things that I was like, I know they're not working as hard as I'm working, right? And I felt like I should have been man of the year this and best gym that, right? But I just put my head down and worked. That's what 2017 was. And in 2018, Crown was named best gym in Durham via Durham Magazine. And I was also Spectacular Magazine Man of the Year, right? So it was, don't think about what you're going to do. Just do it. Just work. Do the work. Do the work. Do the work. So that's what I tell myself.
So now, clap it up. We're going to be out for a while, so show love, talk to them real quick, and just grab a seat, and lay it off real quick. So, we're going to jump right into the next section. We're not even going to go through the whole, y'all going to have a portion when the music's playing to talk amongst yourself what y'all learned, but I want to be on that time piece, so we're going to jump right into it. So next up, and also too, I'm going to leave it up at this time. For those, like I said, more information on the Capital Improvement Campaign is right online. Leave it up there. Definitely go support. But the next two people individually that I'm going to have come talk are near and dear. We're going to talk about holistic health. We're going to talk about holistic health, and I'm going to let the dogs do their thing. I'm going to let the people do their thing with it. The first person I want to introduce is I call my brother. One of my brothers. I don't say that word as much as I used to. I used to say everybody my brother, everybody's your brother. Everybody's your friend. That's the thing. So, but he's really a brother of mine. He's a co-founder of the lead person. We co-founder, but he's the lead person in Rebel Run, which is an amazing run group on Mondays. If you are here in North Carolina, on Mondays, every Monday at 6:45 at the wall, we got a run group. At the Bull, we got a run group. We got a 1 mile, 2 mile, 3 mile group. We got walking, we got all that good stuff, right? So he helped co-found that. He's in finance, so his focus is really in finance, but I really wanted to have him speak on holistic health because there's a lot of people that speak about health, that speak about things, but who they are doesn't contribute to that. We have a lot of stuff, like you said, self-appointed, self-help, whatever, and you meet them, and they're like, oh, what is self-help group? What is it? It's real cold. And even though he doesn't call himself an expert in health, holistic wellness, I'll be honest, this brother, like last year at the beginning was just a weird moment in my life, and I'm telling you, every Monday, and I know you want to put me on the spot, but I got you. Every Monday, every Wednesday, every Sunday, Came to the crib, picked me up, never complained, never asked for nothing. Would call me like, "Can you come to church to put me up?" All this other stuff. And his confidence, more so consistency. His consistency spoke volumes in a way, and he's one of the guys that lives by what he preaches. He lives it, and he can be hard on himself a lot of times, because he's going to be shaking there right now with you know what I'm saying. But he lives by what you preach, and you got to go find some friends like that. It's going to live on what they preach. So without further ado, I'm going to say, he comes to the stage.
Yep, I hope y'all enjoyed the business format, man. Dez indeed dropped another jewels. So many jewels, man. As we transition to the next round, yep, we got another ad, but it's our own ad. Yo, if you have not joined the mastermind group already, go check it out, GregEHill.com/mastermind, or just go to the website. It's on the top level. So, yeah, if you want that accountability, you want that type of push and focus, make sure you join us. Also, if you have not received anything from the last 2 sessions, you might need to stop listening anyways. You feel me? Like, it ain't going to be it for you. But if you have, make sure you're sowing a seed to the Capital Improvement Campaign. That's GregEHill.com/CI Fund, or just cash out the boy. Cash App sign, GregEHill. That's all I got for you. Enjoy the next segment.
And then next, I want to introduce Deanna. And it's crazy. This year, the most transformative year of my life, personally and from a business perspective. And it all came from people that I've already known, people that I went to high school with. And she's a sister that, and I know before this lead up to the event, she was really anxious about like being prepared and all that other stuff. And the reason why I started this podcast is because there's people that you're already a trailblazer. You guys, your parents, the culture has already prepared you to be phenomenal. You're already phenomenal. You don't got to get prepared to show up, because you do it. You live it. That's what you do. So I'm really excited about what she has to say in this self-care space, the jewels she's about to drop. And y'all really give her a round of applause. Let her know that, affirm her that, give it space, give it the confidence that she's going to come out here and be dominant like she is. Also, too, she has a book, so at the end, when she says herself, go support her. Even if you can't support her, let her know, when I can support her, I will do something, because y'all don't know, these entrepreneurs, I don't care if people don't. The donation fees, people like, I can donate $100. There's somebody I know right now that donated $5. I know they had it. Not to say, I appreciate people donating a lot, but that $1 meant so much. They didn't wait too much. I get $600. We can go preach all day. A lot of people wait to do stuff. You need to stop waiting. You need to stop hesitating. Because I gave you more than I ever gave you shit, but I got it back tenfold. I didn't get it, but I got it back tenfold. So I'm telling y'all, when these entrepreneurs are pouring out their soul, even if you can't support, just affirm them. Affirm them what they're trying to do. So let's clap it up for Tiana. Let's clap it up. So first and foremost, we're just going to jump it up so you can get the audience a little bit context of who you are, and not what you do, but what you live by.
All right. Again, I'm Gary Crumpler. I try to live every day as a vessel. Try to just, as G said, be consistent. If my life is a business card, it's going to be consistency. And add some type of value to the spaces that I occupy. And not just make that time, valueless or mean time. So I would consider that, I guess, in one word, maybe just being a servant. All right, and I guess professionally, I've now just began my one-on-one personal financial sessions, which is a branch off of what I do, I guess 9 to 5-ish, which really just supports what I really want to do in life. But I've been a financial advisor, consultant for next year will be 7 years. It's kind of crazy to say that, but yeah, for 7 years. So I'm basically taking what I learned from there and actually helping people one-on-one that may not have the means to be ready to maybe invest or to do something formally, but to let them know you can do this and to have some type of foundational piece. And then, like she always tells me, get out of the lab. Like, stop planning, like actually do, and to enhance their finances and to make financial literacy something that I can bring to everyone's front door, no matter if you're starting with $5 or you're making $50,000 a month. So that's what I do. Also, Rebel Run. That's something that's near and dear to my heart as well.
far as on being fit and just doing something that I enjoy and being with the Brown family.
I haven't missed a Monday in like 2 years since we started. He has not missed a Monday. That is ridiculous. I love that. Next.
Hey everybody, so my name is Kiana Sherrod. I am by day a trauma therapist, and I work with children who have experienced some kind of trauma, whether that's sexual abuse, physical abuse, anything you can think of. But outside of that, not my 9 to 5, whenever I decide to sleep. I am the founder and owner of Untitled Chapter, which is geared towards mental health awareness and increasing self-care, specifically in our community. I want to do it for all people, but I have a special place in my heart for our community. I did write a book, like Greg said. It's geared towards women who reflect a journal. It's full of letters and things that I actually wrote to myself over the last 4 years. I decided that I'm not the only person going through this. Somebody else needs to hear it, so I put it in a book. Threw in some reflective questions in there so that some other women that have the opportunity to find what I found. Outside of that, actually on the first, dropped 2 self-care plans, one for men, one for women, to make self-care something that we are encouraging more and that people are making time for throughout the year. So,
And we're going to do this after I got one question for them, and then we're going to flip it and do a little different this portion, because I know she does these types of sessions all the time, so we're going to have a lot of our audience engaging with this piece. But the question that I wanted to ask, what did 2018 teach you? Actually, I'm gonna do that, and then after that, I'm going to talk about, scratch that question first, before we get there. What does holistic health mean to you? Or self-care, whichever one wants to tackle, what does it actually mean first?
I mean, I think holistic health is just all health in general. And for me, I know with Healthy Pleasure, I created it with mind, body, and soul and mind. And so for me, that's what it means. And self-care is just really prioritizing yourself. I know that we don't do it enough, and I know we don't make time for it enough because we have all these other things going on. We feel like that's more important than who we are and it's not. And at the end of the day, you can have these accolades, you can do this, you can do that, but you're not taking care of yourself, and none of that matters because most likely you're going to drive yourself to the ground. And so that's kind of what it is for me.
I think you get a lot of great points. And if I was to, I really don't think I can add anything to it. I feel like it's the same thing. I mean, holistic, just looking at it like as a whole, and making sure that you're filling each bucket. I know we mentioned like balance isn't realistic, but I think it's the point of making sure that each bucket is being filled, and that you're not neglecting one portion more than the other, because that's how injuries can happen, or that's how things that we're not looking forward to happening can actually happen.
And hold on, like, see, what did 2018 teach you, man? What did 2018 teach you from just from a personal space? I know it's like, man, it's deep.
That's what we actually opened up with. So that's the first one I'm just sharing with Brother Bass about 2018. Really, I feel like it took the lid off of kind of where I can be a servant. And what that I summed up the year in just a few words is fear can't win. And I would allow fear to keep me comfortable. It's not like I've been down and out. I've had some very tough years when I wasn't making anything, when I was on unemployment, making food stamps. So I could kind of go back to that, but when you take a step above that and you're like, oh, I'm good, why do I need to continue to kind of level up? But it's really not for me, it's for others. And I feel like 2018, a lot of the things that I've been through is simply fear can't win. And when you remove that fear factor, I feel like the sky's the limit. So I feel like 2019, almost everything I'm involved in is just like the call for action. It's more. It's like, all right, 2018, we see the potential. 2019, let's do it. And it actually excites me. Like, I'm not afraid to actually to do it. So.
It's funny you said that. For me, fear is not, that's one, and that fear is not an option. Because for me, Healthy Pleasure started out as a blog maybe 2-3 years ago. I did it for a little bit, quit, and just stopped. And started it in June of last year. And the biggest thing, especially with social media, and you trying to tease other people, and it's just like, I want to say this or I want to do this, but how are people going to receive it? Are people going to be okay with that? And so for me, on top of learning not to be so hard on myself, for the people who love me and care for me and here right now, tell me you're doing good. Like, why are you upset? Why are you so anxious? What are you worried about? You know how to do that. So for me, it was fear is not an option, and two, you have to be more compassionate with yourself because God didn't give you a vision for no reason. And if you're doing it and He gave it to you, then this is your purpose. Stick with it. So that was what it was for me.
So now I want to flip it. I have our last question. We're going to have to do this little segment. But for the next 15 minutes, I know she's going to have it, ask open questions, and I'll give it y'all a chance to kind of think and reflect on some things. But Tia, you can kind of have some questions that we talked about, and you kind of get the vibe of the energy of the room. We can share it, and what we'll do, we'll pass the mic around, I'll pass it, and then we kind of get some thoughts on some of the things we want to talk about, and just lay on rain.
So for me, it's mostly our people in here for what I can see. And I know in my mind, and just from research and et cetera, what mental health means in our community and how we view it. But I would really love to see like what the thoughts are and how do you feel like what the barriers are right now for us to get to where we need to be mental health wise in our community.
And you can just raise your hand. If you can speak, I can all pass the mic. You raise your hand, I'll pass the mic to you. Right here.
Yeah, so I actually started doing therapy sessions, mental therapy sessions for myself, but I also needed it myself to be good for my people. And I actually wanted to record the sessions like that I was doing so that I can show my clientele, like, yo, like it's okay for us as black men to be in this session pouring out our hearts to this individual. So I think for you guys to break that barrier, they have to see people doing it. Right? I think people have to be shown doing it that are in leadership positions to make it okay.
That's funny you said that because I blog too, and I actually wrote a blog about therapy, mental health. I feel like the vulnerability of letting yourself out, right? So me writing a blog about depression and people reading it, and at first I'm like, should I submit this? So I had people who read it first, and they're like, don't submit this, it's going to be real harmful. And I said, it's going to be what? Sin. Because you know what? Other people feel that way. Why? It's not even today. Our whole entire our whole history is a taboo. Like mental health is a taboo. It's go ahead and pray on that. Go ahead and pray on that. Go to church. You be good. It's like that's not going to fix it. Prayer without work is nothing. So it just I felt like making the taboo a norm, making normal to go to therapy, making it normalizing therapy. It's not just a white thing. It's not just first of all. People who are Medicaid, it covers like Medicaid and all that. It covers it. So like, I'm just like, use it. It's already paid for it. Why not? I don't have that, and I have to pay a copay, but I still go. So my thing is, me actually saying that I go to therapy. What area first? Because people are looking at me like I'm crazy. I go to therapy. What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? I'm like, nothing's wrong with me. I mean, I'm just going to therapy. Although, like when you are diagnosed with something, I was diagnosed. And the child, I had to talk to my parents about it because the child, they kept trying to like chastise me and punish me with things. I'm like, I have no control over this. A lot of our people think that we can control it. Just make it back in here. You can be all right. You can do that crazy. I'm like, no, I really can't control this. I feel like if we normalize it in our community, and I feel like the key thing is getting more black therapists out there. I don't want to speak to somebody who don't look like me. You don't understand where I'm coming from or nothing. So if we have somebody look like you, all right, let me get this talk over hour. Next person.
But you're right, though, because there is a lot of research on the fact that people are more likely to identify with a therapist that looks like them. Like when I do trauma assessment, I ask the parent and the kid, what is your preference? What do you think? What is my preference? Do you want a white therapist? Do you want a black therapist? Do you prefer male or female? Like at the end of the day, when you go to therapy, it's for you, so it's your choice. You don't have to go to one agency and say, yeah, this is where I'm saying. If they don't work for you, they don't work for you, and that's fine. If you have to shop around and see if I'm the right person, that's cool too. So I think that's the thing, but I mean,
Yeah, I think the idea that, we go to therapy when something is wrong is something that needs to be fixed, right? So I think if we can, as a community, talk about therapy as just a normal part of your everyday life and not just something that you seek out when you're at what you feel to be your lowest, I think that'd be helpful. I think it's also helpful to understand that when you go to therapy, it's an unbiased opinion on what's going on in your life, right? Or maybe not even an opinion, an unbiased listener. And so for all of us, we go through things, but we have the amen corner or we have the naysayer corner in everything that we do. So therapy could be a way to connect with someone who just isn't a part of it. And so the more we can position therapy as a natural and normal part of every part of life, not just the lows, I think we'll have better results.
I would say that it's important to realize that putting money towards self-care is just as important as paying a bill. Like she touched on about having Medicare pay for it. Some people don't want to say put $50 towards going to be a therapist versus paying their cell phone bill. I'll honestly say I saw a therapist a few years ago, and I continued going because it was covered 100% from my job. So I was like, why not? But some people, you can't put that money towards it. So just finding ways to make it affordable, and like she said, especially having people like you that you can talk to.
Because in most places, if you have a job, they offer something through your health benefit. And a lot of people don't know that. Like, you can go and get it through that. Another way is a lot of places have a sliding scale. So if you can't afford at the moment, like, you can work that out. I think one time when I went a few years ago, I went to Riker University up by the airport. I paid $12 a session. Like, and they asked me, how much can you pay? Well, don't ask me, I'm just giving you the lowest number. That's what you want to do that. But there's an option for that. So, like, it doesn't always have to cost them much. There are ways around it.
After Marcus, we should ask another question.
So I think this is in addition to kind of what everybody has said. Like, I believe we should normalize it as well. I know the first time that I went to therapy was because, and this was in college, this was years ago, my girlfriend was actually like, I want you to go with me to therapy. She was seeing, one of the on-campus therapists or whatever. And she obviously was always bringing up my name, and he was like, and it was a guy too, and he was like, I want to meet this guy, like what you're talking about. And so I went in and, anxious and who is this man? Why do I need to go to him? I'm not crazy, nothing is wrong with me. But she, for some reason, it was normal to her. She was just and I don't know if it's something that women are just a little bit more, they are more accepting of those things, and so it was easy for her. So she was going to him every week. Something that happened more recently, again, normalizing it, and this was a coworker that's white. She was her daughter, who is now in college, is in therapy and goes to therapy sessions, and she's sharing this with me freely, I'm like, you should keep that at home, that's personal. But she's sharing it real freely, yeah, my daughter's been in therapy for her anxiety since she was in high school. And I was like, I don't even know nobody, who is in any kind of therapy or going to any kind of mental health therapist or anything when they were in high school or kids, because it's always the amen corner or, go pray it off or all these things. And so I think just normalizing it and just also, seeing people who look like you and normalizing it at a younger age, So, we go through a lot as black people, as brown people anyway. We see a lot in our communities. And so, we need therapy probably more than most other people, but we push it away and we use other things to, kind of cope with those different, stresses or whatnot. So I think starting at a younger age, too, and seeing those people in the therapy sessions all help.
Can I, real quick. Sorry. When you said that, women usually don't do it, that's the thing. If we are the ones who usually do it, we mostly raise our children. So we raise our boys. So we have to be the ones to put it in our sons that they can go to therapy, and when they fall, they can cry. So I feel a lot of it is, we're the ones that do it, but we should put it on our sons so they can grow up and be men. They can go in high school and stuff like that.
Childhood trauma is real. And you cannot adjust a lot of stuff and grow up and be an adult. It's not very functional. And the truth is, we deal with a lot of stuff, period. And I think I heard you say, I'm not crazy. I think a lot of people associate mental health with being crazy. You're not crazy. We're all human. We all have a mind of our own. And sometimes that mind can be stronger than what we are. So that brings up my next question. What do you feel diagnosis-wise or mental health-wise that we struggle with the most within our community?
I would say the fear of being misdiagnosed. Because when you're misdiagnosed, not only do you have one label that you may actually have, legit, but then you have another label that you don't have, and that label follows you forever. No matter what doctor's office, no matter whatever you want to do in life, if they pull your mental history, that comes up, and that may be something that you really don't have. That's a real fear.
Yeah. When I was in grad school, we had to take a class where they taught us the DSM, which is just the diagnostic tool that we use to get our diagnosis. And I told my professor, I don't want to use this part of the job. She's like, why not? Because I don't want to label people. Like, yeah, and this is as a therapist, yes, we have the books to say what certain things is, but I still, as a therapist, struggle with it a lot. Like, yeah, that maybe is what it technically is labeled, but I don't want people to feel like that's what they have to carry. And I think with mental health, that is the issue. Is you may get misdiagnosed. Like for kids, and I learned this when I started getting certified as a trauma therapist. A lot of ADHD symptoms are actually trauma symptoms, and people try to medicate the ADHD, and you're not fixing the problem because that's not the issue. So kids running around with zombie vibes on all types of medication that's not helping them because at the end of the day, that's not what it is. And so I think that's a good point.
I love that you just said that, but another one is acceptance. I think sometimes when people are diagnosed and they don't want to believe it, or if it's your child, for instance, you don't want to believe that. So sometimes they don't get the help that they need because of their parents. That's true.
I don't have a question. I just have more so a comment to throw out there. 2008 was the first year that I myself went to therapy. It's been amazing. I found the right therapist, one that looks like me, one that's around my age, one that's educated, so she understands my needs. She's just as passionate as you are about our community being more open and accepting of going to therapy. I had to search near far for her. Yes. The black therapists in this community really need to band together and create these resources, these places for people to find the right people. I think that's a big problem. We're not able to find you guys sometimes. So, like, I don't have the answers. I don't work in therapy, but I know there are black therapists out here, and I think it's going to take you guys band together to push out for our community.
If you go on psychologytoday.com, they have a full directory where you can search, you can look at people's pictures, what they look like, what their background, what their specialty is, where they went to school, all that stuff, and just kind of read through it that way. I mean, it's not just to know who you're going to be looking at before you go look in the face.
Can you rephrase your questions one more time so I can make sure I answer them properly?
My original question was, as far as mental health and diagnoses, what do you feel like is the things that we struggle with the most in relation to that? And that can be diagnosis-wise, that can just be the thought process around mental health, etc.
Post-traumatic stress disorder. So a lot of us go through things, especially being young, and we don't know how to deal with them. We want to hide it from the world, so we suppress everything. I know personally. I watched my dad die, so he had multiple strokes, and it bothered me to the point I was helping taking care of him. I was 15 years old, and I had to help lift him up, take him to the bathroom, do certain things that as a kid, like, you're not supposed to do. Right. So with that being said, I haven't necessarily worked out all of my issues either, and, the simple fact that I can't find a therapist, that I can relate to, or, I don't have enough money at this current moment to go seek that help, even though I want to. My entire childhood, I've lost a lot of my memory. Can't really remember a lot of things, and that is post-traumatic stress. Like, you have to be aware, like, okay, this is what happened to me. I suppressed it, and now I have to figure out how to deal with it from here. But, not letting it stop you from having the successes in your life, but just figuring out a way on how to deal with it. But, just identifying what your problem is probably like the toughest part, but it has to be done.
Right. Self-awareness is key, and I'm glad you brought up PTSD because that's what I do a lot of with the kids that I work with. And trauma will literally trick your body into you can completely forget things that you know happened. And you can forget every single detail, and that's your body's way of protecting itself. Or you can, and not even just trauma as a child, maybe 3 years ago, I heard them playing on 540 straight across, and I knew I was going to die. That's it. Straight through. And I was like, all right, guys, this is it. I took my hands off the wheel. Me driving for a long time was a scary. I'm the person on the side of the road going 25 miles an hour, got my blinkers on. If you back over there, don't worry about me because I'm shaking in the car trying to drive, but I still have to drive. And that's what trauma does to you. And so being aware and acknowledging the fact that you went through something and it's okay to get through that thing, but now you have to address that thing because otherwise it's just going to be you for the rest of your life.
So I'm glad you asked that question because I never even thought of that question. Pertaining to our people, I too am a therapist, and when I think about the different diagnoses that we see, I would say depression. And one of the reasons why I say that is because depression can be seen as anger turned inward. And so when we don't get an opportunity to be able to give back what people throw on us, and we suppress those things, we begin to experience the symptoms associated with depression: helplessness, hopelessness, lack of go back into the days of slavery and seeing our brothers killed on TV or right in front of us. These are things that we suppress, and as a result of that, if we don't talk about those things, it's going to weigh us down and blind us. So I would say depression.
Not even that, because just the nature of how we were brought here. We have been taught, and this is not to judge anyone because parents raise us most times the way that they were raised. And so things are passed on generation to generation. And so we've been taught to be strong for so long that we stay there. It's like, well, I'm dealing with this, so you find it cool. Shake off, you have a bad day, it'll be all right, but for real, I'm struggling right now, what am I supposed to do? And so I know for me, one thing I talk about the most is your tribe is the most important thing when it comes to love, because you have to have people in your corner that are willing to say, okay, you're going through this, but what do you need? Okay, I see that this is a little different for you. You didn't used to be like this, all of a sudden now you're this way, what's going on? You need those people in your corner because if you stick to yourself and get in your head, which is the other thing I think we do a lot with anxiety, it's over. Because your mind will wrap around it. For me, even as a therapist, anxiety is a beast. I can take one thought, and now I'm 70 years down the road, something that does not even exist. How do you get there? Where did that come from? Active imagination. This is what I mean by your mind is so strong that you don't become more aware of it, more aware of the things that you deal with, more open to recognizing that all the time things aren't going to be okay, and that's okay. You can still do something about it. So that's one of the other things for me.
I was actually going to touch on that as far as family and family history. I think it's hard and scary during the mental process. I've been through therapy myself, knowing you'll have to address your parents, your grandparents, your upbringing, and you may have to not only hold yourself accountable, but all of a sudden you have to hold your heroes accountable. And we're definitely a culture of what happens in the house, stays in the house, what happens in the family, stays in the family. All of a sudden you're listening to all the relatives and you're like looking at you like, you just right. So I think that's probably for me that was a big part of the process of I have to commit to whatever is coming out, deal with it. It makes you a better person, it makes you a more focused person.
I know man's right here, but right here.
One thing I would say is that within our community, probably is due diligence. We get a diagnosis and then we speak of it and we think that's the last word. That's also why I am an advocate for studying to show yourself approved. So you have to, even if you get a diagnosis, and I'm saying this from experience. My daughter was diagnosed with oppositional defiance. And so what I did was I got in a research mode. Like, you're not going to just tell me my child has oppositional defiance without me understanding what it is. And after I went through the processes of reading and researching, I realized, yes, these are things that she identifies with, and it helped me as a parent be able to curtail that behavior. So a lot of times the problem is we get this label, and the label is heavier than the solution. And we let it sit there and we let it linger. And we tell people, oh, I have this and I have this. And it starts to build bricks. And so the bricks weigh heavy on us and we start to wear that label for the rest of our lives. And what we have to do is research. We have to figure out what they're saying and does that directly identify with you. And this is why second opinion is so important. And not only that, prayer. Okay? Fasting and prayer. I am a minister, so I have to say that. Fast and pray.
So what I'm going to say, I'll be real quick, I'm pretty loud. To me, what we struggle with is self, and who we are. I think that, and I used to work in the schools, I used to work around our kids. And I used to work with a lot of kids, and I used to tell them, I said, nobody can beat you at your own game. They used to say, well, I said, nobody can beat you at being you. So be yourself. I said, when you can be yourself, you don't have to validate yourself to nobody at no time, because they learn that I have to do what I'm not really taught or trained to do. Not trained is a bad word, but my parents teach me. Don't need to have friends. I said, you don't have to do that. You are who you are. And you are the best person to show people that I don't have to conform to your ways or your ways. He's who I am. Because I am me. So I tell them. Nobody can be judged. Okay. So be yourself.
As we begin to close out the segment, I know you had a question you want to pose, and then we're going to wrap this one up.
Right. Y'all talk at all about like how you deal with people who have mental health issues or mental health challenges?
She'll answer that and then see.
Well, I'm just wondering if that's part of what I just didn't want to
I would throw it to
okay.
That is a loaded question. I would say that, and I think you can have a whole conversation on that alone. But the biggest thing I would say is to be compassionate and to be understanding. Because you have to think about individually when you deal with certain stuff, the toll that takes on you. And there are certain things, mental health-wise, that you may or may not have control over. Anxiety being one thing, like you can cope with it, but sometimes it can really take you to a place where you're not able to function. Depression too, same way, it's debilitating. You lay in bed for days with depression. So I think the biggest thing is, one, being compassionate and understanding, but two, also protecting yourself, because we do have to put a certain boundary. Me being an empath, like, I feed off the energy of other people. So I have to, at some point, say, like, I can't deal with this today. The thing that I saw, and I posted this on my page probably a few weeks ago, and something that me and my friends, my family have started doing is asking people permission. Can you deal with this today? Like, we've been all the time, but today, you have the capacity to deal with it. But some days people say to you, like, not today. People piss me off at work. I can't deal with that today. And so I think being compassionate, being understanding, and also setting those boundaries, but being there for them when they're opening up to come to people. Because it's hard for people to admit that they're struggling. Like, we all want to put them in space and act like we're this person and everything's great, everything's okay, but sometimes everything isn't. And when you get the strength to go and tell somebody that, that's a hard thing to do. Don't belittle them or make them or brush them off or minimize, like, it's not a big deal, because it may not be for you, but for them, it's a whole other world. And so that would be my thing.
And before T goes, I'm going to put her on the spot,
but I know we already got lined up Saturday in March, and I know Precious should say it towards the end, but Saturday in March, we are going to hold a specific event. I will talk about after, but a specific event solely based on that. I'm just going to help promote it. I'm not going to be involved with it. I'm going to let the people do what they do. But I definitely think it's a wider conversation to be had, more specific. It won't be in this setting, but it'll be in a better setting. And we'll talk about specifics of it. But I definitely think it's that. So you already do it, but I just want to help GregEHill, Glow, and some others, because we have some talented therapists in the area, people that are in this space. And I know she's doing some great things. I know some other people. I know my godmom is doing some great things, and others. And I know me as a conduit, like I can put people together. I definitely want to shed some wider light on that. Not to say I need to, but it's like, yo, this is personal, and I really feel it. So, see, I wanted to close this out with just something that the crowd can resonate with, but also too can talk. So, if you have a question, you want to ask.
Yeah, so it's a very, very heavy topic to kind of follow up and try to say, but I'm going to do my best to do that. So, oftentimes, when it comes to finance, in that finance space, I'll get a client in there when you close the door, you don't know where that conversation's going. And I mean, it can go from everywhere from someone recently dealing with divorce, a loved one just maybe passed away, and how we're going to handle their affairs from here on out. It can be, I got my first job, something super exciting, so anywhere, so I feel like I have to almost play therapy do this, because they can be talking about cheating on them. I mean, anything, like literally, it can go anywhere. But what I want to also, I guess, try to segue is, oftentimes we forget that where our treasure is, our heart lies there also. And how often do we really look at our financial picture as far as where our dreams are aligned? A lot of people, when they're getting income, they'll think, I just get more. How can I make more? How can I make more? Not realizing that money will never end. And if your goal is just to make money and make more and more and more, you're going to end up almost being depressed in a way, because I've got clients that make $50,000 a month, and they're still not fulfilled. So you have to find what your purpose is for your budget, and that's one of the things I do. I sit down in our one-on-one sessions, and we look at, okay, what is your goals? Before we talk any numbers, what's your goals? Because we have to put some type of purpose in this plan. There are several gurus and experts out there in finance, because money, there's so many different ways to get where you want to go. But we have to create a plan that's going to be specific to your goals, so that you feel fulfilled. Once you start hitting these steps, you're like, oh yes, I know about this goal, I know about this step, and you'll see that list start to dwindle down, and you'll feel that power come back towards you as far as on that financial piece. So I guess it doesn't have to be a question that the mic pass around with.
But I got it. But one thing I do want to add that question, because we just spoke on it's hot. It's really trendy right now to talk about mental health, to be honest. It's really trendy, right? But it's not trendy to have these conversations about finances. Openly with our friends and openly, like, I'll be honest, I went for a long time, I wouldn't go to the bank and like ask them. I didn't even like really go to the teller, but I didn't tell them my balance. So I was like, hey, man, I'm passing the check, I'm like, oh, this means you do what you say, no, man. And especially if I do somebody to tell, I'm like, I can't go. And it's like, you sit there and you think it's like, hold up, all right, okay, call them. Get away with it, and then you gonna go, and they go, look, hey, Mr. GregEHill, the Ghost Change Agent. What is that working? You cash this check out, brother? You may want to put it back, and you just really weird. I'm like, oh, I'm like, no. But we have to, just like mental health, we have to have these conversations with people we trust, with certified professionals in this finance. So a question I can have, and we can get on this question is, what is the stigma behind finances? And for those that are in this space, what is the stigma behind finances in this community? Are you already?
I can go all day about this. I think that within the Black community, we have to stop thinking that we can't talk about money with people who look like us, right? Like with our peers, with everyone. Like I want all my friends to win, and I want to talk about how we get there, right? So I think that talking about budget, I think talking about how you're saving your 401k if you're a corporate person, and if you're not, then what are you doing for retirement? I think having those conversations openly is really important. I think from a legacy perspective, it's important to talk to your parents, your grandparents about what they're doing. They may say, you know, with you, I'm spending it all before I go, but at least have that conversation. It's important to talk about, credit card debt. It's important to talk about all these things because, y'all, the majority of people do it every day. So if we want a piece of what they have, we have to start having the same conversation. It's really important to save money. When you talk about there's a lot of research online about all these different ways, talk to somebody. whether you have 1 month in savings, or you have 3 months, or 6 months, do you have enough money to cover all your deductibles? Those are things that you should talk about with friends and take that into consideration when you're planning your turn up. And I'm for these drinks tonight, or should I be saving this money? But we don't talk about it enough, and it's so taboo. But you about not wanting to be seen by the teller, that teller don't know you got all your money in that bank, or you take your money at Wells Fargo too. So let me hurry up with it. I had to take a look at my balance and say, oh, what kind of job you got? Girl, you're trying to get a lot of bills. I got a lot of business.
Knowledge is power, and I think a lot of the times we don't know the questions to ask, and most times the people around us don't know. Everything people don't know this stuff. Like, when I started my new job, they started asking me questions. I'm like, whatever you want, because I don't know what this is. Like, I don't know the financial details, so I think knowing what to ask or knowing who to go to, and if you don't know, I'll probably put you up, to be honest now, but before that, if you don't know who to go to, then you don't know what to do. You just figure it out on your own. This one, I'm going to do this. This one, okay, well, I'm going to figure this out. So I think knowing where to go and who to talk to is important, too.
I wanted to answer with Terry was saying how you see what's your financial goal. And when he said that, like, he asked me a while, like a couple days ago. And I actually didn't think of the answer to this now because I feared it. Like, it was a fear of you know, what is my goal? Because, like you said, I don't understand. I'm not gonna be honest. I don't understand half of the things y'all talk about. Like, when financially they be saying things to me, I'm like, I don't know what you're saying. Honestly, that's not my thing. I'm a social worker. Finances, you hire someone else to do that. But we, as adults, we have to learn it regardless. It's something we have to learn. So that's a fear. And a lot of times we fear of actually really knowing how much we make and how much we over our means. Once I put down all my money now, like what I make and how much I spend, I really want to cry and like rip it up and say, I'm going to look at this again because I like the way I'm living because I don't know that I'm living over my means and I'm living check to check, but I don't feel that way. But once you budget your life, and you know you can't go and buy them shoes you want and stuff like that, it's a fear. It's a fear of, I've done it, I budget about 6 times and I keep stopping because I'm like, I want to buy those shoes because I don't know, because I'm tired of being poor. Like, I don't want all my money to go to bills. But that's just maturing and becoming an adult.
Hi. One of the things that she was saying about, like, when she mentioned the word budget, I think a lot of times, especially with our age group and in our community, we allow the word budget to tell us what we can't do rather than being something that we use to plan for what we want to do or what we can do in the future. And I'm like her, like, well, actually, this one right here, she has budgets for budgets for budgets. And I think that's something like that we have to do, or that she's helping me do, is when I have my budget, in the back of my head, I'm always thinking, okay, yes, I want these shoes, but I really want to go on that trip even more. So maybe I should have a balance. And I know you're saying, like, in life there's not always a balance, but there is in some things when it comes to budgeting, and that's a really big one.
All right, cool. We got boom, and then we got 4, and then we'll wrap it up for this one.
So when we talk about the roadblocks as it relates to money, I want to touch on it from a little bit of a different angle, and it is as it relates to money mindset. So I know oftentimes in order to manifest whatever it is that you want in your life, you have to believe that you're worth it. And I think oftentimes we don't cast our net far enough, or we kind of operate from this lack perspective, especially as Black people, because majority of Black people in this country are poor or have been poor or have experienced some sort of destitute, negative story, whatever. And so oftentimes growing up in those situations and environments, you hold on to a lot, and then it creates like this fear around money. Like, I know in my family, it was like, don't touch that, we can't afford that, or like different things like that. And I think that creates a whole mindset around which you may feel that you can have and which you feel that you're worth. And so I think it's important to really start expanding our mind around money. Of course, strategically planning and budgeting, but even like one thing I've been saying myself lately is that, you know, I'm going to be a multi-million-dollar business owner. And not for myself, because I know that the vision that God gave me, I can't even accomplish it without that. Like, it's so big that I need multiple $1 million to be able to really serve at the level that my heart intention is. And so it's like creating, everything. I'll get into that anyways. I'm talking about mindset a little bit, so I ain't going to go too deep. But yeah, I think money mindset is important. You have to really believe, to really, like, even create space and be able to see opportunities to get more money. You have to first create the space in your mind that you can actually have it, or that you're even worth it.
Yeah, that's definitely a big topic of money there. People fear what they don't understand and hate what they can't conquer, and sometimes they'll shelve it away for another day.
Yeah.
I really believe that one of the issues, and this is kind of piggybacking on this, your comment about why don't we share it with one another. I think for many people, trust is a big issue, and trusting on who you can share your information with, because sometimes in the moment when you're sharing, you all have the common goal of, okay, we're trying to uplift each other, but then you have those other moments where they can be mad at you about something else, or they'll go and share with someone else that you don't want them to share with. And so I think trust is a major issue, especially among our community. I think we see it played out on reality TV, all kinds of meetings.
And like I said, they'll be around, and people that are talking, they're going to be around some of them, because I know people have time for business, but they'll be around at the end when the music going, so feel free to keep that energy, keep those questions, etc. Yes.
I'll just quickly say that I agree with what you were saying about pressure. I think that there's a good amount of Black people who are workers. When I say workers, like my parents were factory workers, and they worked in Thomasville Furniture Factory and Smurfit Stone, and they're used to that hourly pay. You had to work for this to get. And so, when I come home with ideas of passive income, investments, and properties, is like a foreign language almost. And so I think education is key, and then using opportunities like this and opportunities like I have a financial advisor, taking what I learned from them back home as well to educate my cousins that are younger, that are coming up, and my parents as well, and my grandparents, etc. That is really important, something I felt like I lacked, and kind of starting all over again at 25 and how to be really responsible with my finances.
I'm going to close. I got
What I want to do right now, first and foremost, like, this been a phenomenal night. I'm glad that we were able to kind of end on this piece. But the questions don't stop from here. There's a lot of, we didn't have time to really jam-pack and flesh out the answers. But like I said, this is just the beginning. And let us, and hopefully some things that let us share. One, follow up with these people, reach out and talk to them. And I will definitely be sending out an email with contacts and some more context with it. So first and foremost, I want to give them a round of applause.
Information will be in the email and all that good stuff. With books, all that good stuff. I appreciate the support. Love y'all. Take pictures. Support T. Support anybody got the book. Love y'all. Appreciate it.
Wow. You made it this far. 2.5 hours of a podcast. A legendary 100 Live episode. I just want to say a couple quick thank yous, man. I never thought we would see 100 episodes of this podcast. I never knew in 2014 when I started that we would see this far, that we would go on tour, that we would do any of this, man. And from the bottom of my heart, I just want to say thank you. From the bottom of my heart. Before I do anything else, man, y'all changed my life forever. Forever, man. I said it at the beginning of the podcast. I want to say it again. Regardless if you donate, regardless if you share, regardless of all that, man. Y'all mean a lot to me, man. And y'all changed the world. Y'all empower me to change the world. Y'all change the world while y'all download. Y'all change the world with this listen, man. So I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. And make sure you do your best to change the freaking culture. Good night.